Introspection. It was strange. A bit. Even though he, my Appa who made me to live and stood with me all along. In all situations and circumstances of my life. Thereafter that I need to pray to him only. Even to attempt introspection or to reflect. Of that spent life of mine. He kept me free even from that burden of lived state. Free from weightage of events and its effects without. Not a speck of dust is attached to me. That is the care. That is the affection. That is the commitment. That is the dedication. That is the devotion he has. Once he took up somebody and he owned him, and this is what? An insignificant being, me. How many janmas, births one is in need to evolve such amount of deservingness so that that individual can attract his attention? Is it possible? Does any human being has such kind of qualities, or any human can take birth with such qualities? A Vedic mantra is apt quote here. That any amount of penance. That any amount of tapas. That any amount of japas. That any amount of knowledge. That any amount of holy immersions. That any amount of pilgrimage. That any amount of gains. That any amount of study of holy scriptures. That any amount of rituals performances. That any amount of recitation of hymns. That any amount of practice of mantras cannot achieve. Only that, Pada Rajodhuli of Sadguru smearing can bestow on us of that qualities. Prayer is the panacea of all, and it can pave a pathway to that holy feet. Nothing else. Soul yearns, heart craves, mind seeks, and intellect debates. Thought flies it, conscious tosses it, and what am I to do? And this is the state of mind, and in this state I live, and then I cannot decide, and indecisiveness becomes my nature. That is the presentation of a common man to me when someone comes to me for the subject of spirituality, and he has lost in the depths of his self, and I have to extricate him from the depths of his self, which is unfathomable, and as it is almost impossible to know man. Appa used to tell me, I begin my quest and roots of my quest of sojourn spiritual journey under the tutelage of my Acharya Deva and the Master through the reflections I attempting to present through this presentation. Reflection continues. Reflections, an unorthodox approach. Extract from J.R.K. Raizada from Shahjahanpur article, Our Master. Swami Vivekananda spoke in America in the year 1895. His speech in America. Today man requires one more adjustment on spiritual plane. Today material ideas are at their height of their glory and power. Today man is likely to forget his divine nature through his growing dependency on matter, and he is likely to be reduced to a mere money-making machine. An adjustment is necessary, and power is coming. The voice has spoken. To drive away the clouds of gathering materialism, the power has been set in motion which at no distant date will bring onto mankind once more the memory of their real nature. And again the place from which the power will start will be Asia. Destruction is imminent. No country, no civilization can sustain and remain in existence without pursuing or adopting the ways and means of spiritualism or God, and to give this gospel and spread this gospel. A personality takes a birth in the Asia, said Swami Vivekananda in his address at America in way back around 1891 to 1897. Man becomes a money-making machine, Swami said, in way back 1/4 century plus. If was so, then, and it was real too. Thereafter the century, the whole globe, had seen that prophetical declaration coming as true by every second and minute of the times. But mankind sustained, humanity sustained, and it could absorb 2 great world wars. Genocides, annihilations, and wars are part of the mankind evolution. It became so. It was not so before that century. At one-sided, There was a huge scientific discoveries and inventions. Number of new science streams of knowledge birth. Birth of intellectual giants. Mankind left the frontiers of earth and conquered kingdom of waters in its depth. But at the same time, rose to the height with the rocket technology. Conquered the space and expanded his scientific prowess. Enveloping planets after the planets. Attempting to cover entire solar system and thereafter covering the deeper space. Leaping over galaxies and galaxies into the intergalactic travel. But still, the mankind, engaging constantly in wars. Some portions of the earth always soaked with the blood and the very political order at the times of Swami. Paved the way to the new political orders. Changing the face of the globe of the ideologies. Industrialization gave birth to new wealth corridors. Those new wealth corridors to support and sustain the industrialization found the utmost need in the form or energy needs or fuel. That new wealth corridors have become Middle East and Gulf countries, who are rich in oil resources. In support of the industrialization, need of the raw material, felt the dire need for, like to say, necessities are the mother of inventions. Made every courtly to look into themselves as their own valuable natural resources in the form of metals and minerals, in order to cater to the needs of the metals for machines and for men. Men also became resources, and also other natural wealth in the form of wood, chemicals, and gave the boost to the health industry. For the sake of pharmacy, drugs. Because of world population explosion, and that can be noted for the comparison. To see the population index growth from the time of Swami's speech to till now. It may be around 200 crores, the world population. Now it is 800 crores. The mankind made a march fast with one-sided wars, continuous, one-sided, explosion of population, and to sustain both scientific and technological inventions. Assuring incompletely, new order, new morals, new ethics, new political philosophies, but still, one great thing which is passing through like a silver line is, mankind did not lose. That's the shining silver line is called faith, faith in humanness. Human values. Faith in God existence, faith in the soul, robustly, these things also driving, and we can note and have a clear observation. Observable pillars of faiths do sprang up and spread a newfound deep interest for all the ancient religions. Texts like Tao, Zen, Buddhism, Jainism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam and Hinduism, and number of other orders of faiths, practices, at the same time giving a way for innumerable yogic practices. The soul of mankind is not lost. The fundamental character of soul is the faith. Faith in itself, faith in God, faith in humanness, faith in ethics, faith in morals are still in grip of the mankind. But at the same time we can parallelly see the events. Events like battles and wars were fought. Huge blood is spilt. Atrocities are committed and continuing in the name God and in the name of faith only, and it is a great paradox to observe the element of faith, the element of God fueling the wars, killing innocent faithfuls without any discrimination, presenting a very grim picture for the mankind continuation. Itself became the question. The above scenario, which is a fleeting note of the mankind evolution, clearly indicates that the prophetical statement of Swami came true, and we are all beneficiaries of the great issue fourth statement of faith by him. It was those times itself. Swami observed man had become money-making machine with the population of 200 crores. Now with the population of 800 crores. What would have been the present man, he would have said. Globe and global population has evolved and still sustained that faith which he gave and led to the birth of so many great men in every walk and in every field and in every order, and supported the mankind. Hence, the soul of the mankind is well secured, preserved and protected. With every difficulty the soul of the mankind is getting strengthened, like Lord Christ said. Adversaries are given only to strengthen. Problems are presented only to become intelligent, rather they are opportunities for the mankind to raise above and tide those adversaries, and it's so true too. Me, like you, is also member of the World Society of the Men. I am also part of this great influx of change. But the silver line, which is shining through my life of 43 years, is great hand of support of Guru and faith backed with the practice and guidance. I began at the point of 1/3 road of the total time of Swami Vivekanand. Because I got the great good shepherd in the form of my Guru, and the Master made my Guru is so, and I found the perfect refugee in his shelter. Lived through all these ordeals of the time, of the society, of the family, of myself, of the faith, of the practice, with perfect guidance, with his eternal support. My Guru, that everlasting light of him, still everlasting flame of the light, is so live, throwing light and giving warmth. This driving force is intact, in order, in command, in power, in current too, and available to one and all, and he is my beloved. Because he gave such love, no lover is capable of offering, no father is capable of giving, no mother can offer, no consort can exchange or extend, no god or goddess or deities can share. Such is the love, only love, he had given me. He is giving me too. The gaze fixed, no necessity was ever born or is present to look or to change, it is there. My bowing to the lotus feet taken place, no raising at all, it is at that holy feet only. All these expressions are the comprehensions which was born out of his robust training in making my mind and wish to be a platform to one and all, to see through, to stand upon and to look. Make my views as a lens attempt to see whether you do pass through. Which I did pass through, as I am also like you. I am no different than you all. But the difference is he is with me. That's all. About Shri Babuji Maharaj. He has never appeared as a social reformer or a political reader. His humble and unostentatious life is in striking contrast with that of high dignitaries and so called spiritual leaders of today. His outer life conspicuously lacks the glitter of those very things that attract the admiring gaze of the general public. Yet his simple life is something of extraordinary value and something of very subtle. He had marvelous spiritual experiences under the benign care of his master. The picture was already there. Only finishing touches were needed. The progress was very quick and unprecedented in the history of spiritual progress. In 1924 he felt an ubiquitous force present in every animate and inanimate object and particle. He was drowned in sea of wonder. He felt God pervading over everything like a broad daylight. In 1929 he reached perfection, and he might have left that physical frame that very year, when the Grandmaster Sri Lalaji Maharaj was ailing and his condition was serious. One of his disciples, P.T. Ganga Sevak, "Have you left your representative?" He replied in, "Yes, I have left my representative. He will himself appear. Moths will crowd there where the light be." Grandmaster went into Mahasamadhi on the 14th of August 1931. Just the next morning, the 15th of August 1931, my master Ramchandraji Maharaj felt a great flow of power within and outside him, which was transferred to him by his master. His master merged into him. Grandmaster continued to transmit to his extraordinary disciple in his dream till the time for his active work began. The year fixed for his appearance in the arena of spirituality with complete powers was 1944. After he became representative, which was also to be declared at Bhandara at Fatehgarh, UP. Through his spiritual brother P.T. Rameshwar Prasad Misra, one of the disciples and preceptors of the Grandmaster Shri Lalaji Maharaj. Shri Lalaji Maharaj laid tasks which only Grandmaster Shri Lalaji Maharaj could have achieved. They were the following. The worst abhyasi with the preceptor be prepared in a minute so that he, the abhyasi, may do the training of his master. All the approaches be given, which are possible for man, in a minute without death occurring, to bring the whole world under trance in a minute. Any place may be charged in a minute that whoever meditates there may come in the spiritual state. These tasks were posed to all, abhyasas, prefects and preceptors and others are whoever can accomplish. If anyone can achieve the above task as laid, then he can be the representative of the Grandmaster. Shri Lalaji Maharaj, none accepted, and Shri Babuji Maharaj did achieve. The mission was registered in 1945. For over a decade Shri Babuji Maharaj continues to work with his own finances, spending thousands of rupees over the work of Shri Ramchandra mission. Yearly tour was a normal and regular feature. His mission began. He decided to work single-handed with his work. To begin the work under the orders from above, he had to select oldest rock of the earth. That is the Deccan Plateau, which had ever remained a field of activity of personalities. Just to mention, the times of Bhagavan Rama. Whenever nature wants change and readjustment upon this earth, the work always starts from here, a revelation. Shri Babuji Maharaj toured South India incognito from December 1944 to February 1945. Second, his spiritual discovery to mention the birthplace of Lord Krishna, which was hitherto unknown. For the aspiring soul, cremation place of Lord Krishna, discovered by him, which lies in the bed of Jamuna river under the railway bridge. This is a note in year 1945 times of revelation of Shri Babuji Maharaj. The greatest contribution of Master is that he has created the field for spiritual progress. The whole atmosphere is changed, and the result is that the thirst for spirituality is increased. The whole world has to adopt this way of spiritual life sooner or later. In the history of spirituality, no personality has prepared men to become Jivan Muktas, but Shri Ramchandraji Maharaj has given highest spiritual approach to a few persons, and others are coming up. Today the world has a number of saints, scores of japas and mantras, galaxy of personal gods and they like to whom people flock, and sincerely too. To some extent it should be noted that this pursued, while giving some rewards, cannot give the ultimate and full fruit, namely the fruits of realization. Realization is possible only through right meditation, and that one imparted by a guru who is himself a realized one. In Shastras, in ancient texts, in the Puranas, in the great epics, and in every order of the religions or the great men lives, which we go through, of which some are recorded oral presentations, in all of which there is one clear straight thought flow of direction to the mankind. Deep pursuits of any stream of knowledge, in any event or in any matter, to find the roots, to find the lineage or genesis, is a mandatory laid down process to begin with, which is a mandatory even applied for kingdom of plants, botanical, kingdom of animals, breed, kingdom of skies, birds, group or family belongs, and in the government administration to adopt enumeration of population called census. The above mentioned principles are followed like gender, caste, creed, religion, nationality, and of the family tree. Even it is strictly followed in the landed properties deals like sale deed, mother deed, history of the property till the point of government survey declaration, survey numbers and maps of the land, etc. So it is incumbent upon me to apply the same principle of finding the roots of the personalities, methods, practices, and of the lineage. If I'm serious about matters pertaining to the highest ideals of human, to begin with the spiritual subject, the purpose, the idea, the goal, the aim of human birth, living and achieving, then it becomes doubly important to thoroughly thrash all these issues to satisfy myself and to be rid and fill all my voids of my understanding, and thereafter to associate and begin. So I am attempting to understand by going through the genesis of these great personalities. The genesis of Mahatma Samarth Sadguru Shri Ramchandraji Maharaj of Shahjahanpur. His family has a hoary history. Its rise dated from the time of Akbar, the great Mughal emperor, and its misfortune followed upon the downfall of the Mughal emperor. One of the members of this family was the Mir Munshi at Akbar's court. He was granted the title of Bugara. He held a Jahagir at Talgram in Awadh for several generations. The estate remained in the family. One of the later descendants of this family, Bakshi Kundan Lal, was the chief army officer under Nawab Shuja-ud-Daulah. In 1762, Bakshi Sahib commanded the armies of Shuja-ud-Daulah in the Third Battle of Panipat. After the battle, Hafiz Rahmat Khan, who was impressed by the bravery of Bakshi Sahib, borrowed the serifs of Bakshi Sahib from Shuja-ud-Daulah as army officer. In the Battle of Fatehganj, near Shahjahanpur, in 1774, between Rahmat Khan and Shuja-ud-Daulah, Bakshi Sahib was killed along with his new Nawab. Shuja-ud-Daulah orders confiscation of family properties in Jahangir. The surviving member left the place to save their lives and got scattered in various districts of UP. In the year 1824, Diwan Shadilal, grandson of Bakshi Sahib and great-grandfather of Shri Ramchandraji Maharaj, was appointed Diwan of the Nawab of Shahjahanpur. His son Janki Prasad, grandfather of Shri Ramchandraji Maharaj, joined the civil courts as Munsarim under British rule. Shri Janki Prasad's son Shri Badri Prasad was born on the 12th of July 1867 at Badon. He was taught Urdu in persona at home and was sent to the English school at the age of 9. He was a brilliant student. He studied law, became a pleader and started legal practice in the year 1892 at Shahjahanpur. In a short time he became a leading lawyer with roaring practice. He was appointed first-class special magistrate, and in 1929, he was awarded the title of Rai Bahadur. He was a great scholar of history. His work on ancient period of Indian history is of great value. His research about Lord Krishna's lineage is very valuable contribution. This work is in Urdu named Mashraf-ul-Tariq Hind. His works being unpublished has not come into limelight. He was a lawyer, scholar, historian, and above all a gentleman. His wife was a pious lady. Through this couple, the divine child now known as Shri Ramchandraji Maharaj graced this earth on Baisakh Bari Panchmi, Sakar 1821 in the star, Mula, the 30th of April 1899. From an early age, signs of his extraordinary nature was evident. When 2 or 3 years of age, any inclination for food. He did not eat any food himself in his childhood. Even served food unless specifically induced or fed by someone else. At the age of 7 he had finished 3 books of Urdu or Persian, which he was taught according to the period and family. At this age, he had an attack of typhoid. The illness continued for 1 year, and it was most surprising that when he was recovered he had forgotten even the alphabets and had to begin afresh. By the time he was 9 years of age, with his peculiar instinct he was able to recognize his clothes by smelling, and this faculty developed further, and at the age of 14 or so he could know the character of a man by the smell of perspiration. At the age of 9, he felt a kind of thirst for reality and remained extremely flustered like a man drowned in water. This state continued for about 5 years, and finding no solution, He decided to make himself deserving, praying and craving for a real and capable master. When he was 14, he decided that he should not seek for a master, and he began practice of pranayama. From school to service. The son of a scholar is usually given best education, but the purpose of his coming to this world was different. He was not interested in studies or things taught in schools. Playing and pondering interested him more than dry books. The result was that his education career was full of failures. Like all divine personalities, he was weak in mathematics. At the age of 16, by exercise of the will, he developed a taste for learning. Became interested in literature and geography, perhaps to have an idea of the physical world, for its readjustment in future. In his early days, he was much interested in riding, which is also akin to the symbol of personality of the age given in our Shastras. He was good at hockey and football and used to captain the class team. Once, at school during a leisure period, the games teacher refused to issue the games equipment, and Ramchandra gave up games for good. Now pondering and writing philosophical essays became his game, and he prepared to captain the destinies of people. While she was a student of class 9, his headmaster developed colic and suffered with intense pain. Ramchandra went to him with the bill that the pain should stop. The pain ceased and the patient slept. When boys got hurt in games, they went to him for healing without medicine. He could do all this not because he had any hypnotic power, but had complete confidence in his own self, which is spiritual. Even at school, he could concentrate like a seasoned yogi. Even during boyhood, Shiva predicted a few things which proved true. He joined the civil court at Shahjahanpur at 1924, and in service he set an example of hard work and honesty. His saintliness impressed his official superiors, who did not hesitate to mention it in their reports in his character role. Quote, "He is great soul of man and good at his work." The 2nd of September 1929. Quote, "He is a careful and hard-working official and is generally honored to be scrupulously honest." The 6th of July 1949. Quote, "He leads a very saintly life and adheres to his high principles in his day-to-day life and is very conscious of his duties." The 29th of February 1955. Quote, "He earned the enviable reputation for honesty in disciplined life, worked in an unassuming manner, and can, I think, serve as a model for the ministerial staff." The 4th of November 1956. To set an example for the coming generations, he did not give up the world to become an ascetic. He remained in it and worked in it effectively and honestly. He is still quoted at the bar and in the town as an example of honesty at service. He is a real karma yogi. With his master, he had taken the decision at the age of 14 not to go to any guru, and he did not go. But as it was to be, he came in contact with the greatest saint of the age, Samarth Sadguru Mahatma Shri Ramchandraji Maharaj Fatehgarh. Unknowingly, he was pulled by the divine force to the holy feet of the great site on the 3rd of June 1922. When he was face to face with the Guru, he had no words. He was spellbound. Soul-to-soul contact was re-established. Interest in philosophy vanished, and he was anxious to gain all from his master. Perfect satisfaction was felt by him at the very glance of the great master. The divine child arrived into the care of the divine master as a representative of the Grand Master Adiguru Shri Lalaji Maharaj. In the words of Shri Babuji Maharaj, the incident goes that one day while he was playing with his mates, some divine force aroused in him the feeling that he had not come for the purpose he was engaged in. He had to realize himself and to equip himself for the greater task ahead. The soul was awakened and he set to it in right earnest. He attained perfection in only 7 months, really unparalleled example. Since then he devoted the whole of his life to the cause of spirituality. He was an embodiment of moderation, toleration, devotion, devoid of egoism altogether. With him dawned the new era of yogic training, through transmission of which he was the master. He could bring a man to perfection simply at a glance. It was he who made it possible that a man could attain perfection in one life only. Even while leading a family life in Grihasthashram, he used to say that the troubles and miseries in Grihastha lives are penances and sacrifices for spiritual attainment. He had simplified the methods of spiritual training to a great extent and adapted them to suit the requirements of the time. Among his innumerable researches in the spiritual field, one is given among the head of Central Region in this book. Shri Lalaji Maharaj is a prodigal son of nature. He is the divine light. He is a benevolent personification of love too. He was a very good singer with a melodious voice, and he used to sing the bhajans. He started training people from every walk of life and of all religions, caste and creed. To some he used to tell them to only read. To some, he used to make them to do japa. To some he used to instruct them to indulge in services. To some he used to ask them to do manana, memorization. To some, he used to ask them to follow mantras and some chants. To some he used to give meditations, and for some he used to ask them to just come and attend sating. He was a strict disciplinarian, at the same time he is benevolent. But surprisingly everyone used to progress, though earlier those men did practice the gyms, same mantra, same chants. But there was no spiritual progress was occurring or taking place, and Shri Babuji Maharaj deduced in his thinking that it is his power which is working behind in all those means, and he used to undertake through cleansing them, purifying them, purging them, and also preparing them fit and proper to receive the grace and enable them to have the effect of those sacred texts and elevate them. Hence deduced in his thinking that he is the method, he is the path, he is the means. The lineage and genesis of Shri Lalaji Maharaj is also of royal blood, and tracing of his lineage could cross quite long years. While undertaking the training and imparting the divine impulses, Shri Babuji Maharaj used to touch every heart and every one with a great affection, and the one who was touched used to feel benevolent parental affection. His attitude towards his disciples is so affectionate and filial that he is called by all in the mission as Babuji. He's really father of all of us. He leads a simple and unassuming life. To bring integration in this disintegrated world, he has descended upon earth. This can be seen by anyone staying with him for a couple of days. He is himself an embodiment of integration. His simplicity is a veil. Shri Babuji Maharaj gave to the mankind the method of meditation practice named as Sahaj Marg under the aegis of Shri Ramchandra Mission. For the beginners who wanted to begin the meditation practice, he printed and distributed the old postcard-sized 3-page pamphlets, including the cover page and a back page with emblem printed upon the front page under the Shri Ramchandra Mission, which is a registered society having its constitution way back in the year 1945, registered at Bareilly of United Province of erstwhile British India. The aims which were set by him in the form of goals for the mankind and as well as for Shri Ramchandra Mission are the following: to spread Brahmvidya, remove the oppression from the oppressed, to help and assist those honest and sincere seekers on the path of God realization or self realization within this very Janma or life, or within a short span of time to achieve the realization of God or self. The booklet for the beginners had contained the method of practice of meditation prescribed in Sahaj Marg method of Shri Ramchandra Mission for the beginners, which is based upon the Raja Yoga system of practice, a yogic practice. 1. The method for the meditation. Sit in an easy posture comfortably in an airy place. Closing your eyes. Sukhasana and locking your both the palms gently. The prayer. O Master, Thou art the real goal of human life. We are yet but slaves of wishes putting bar to our advancement. Thou art the only God and power to bring us up to that stage. Recite, utter the prayer once or twice and ponder over the meaning of the prayer deeply. Take the supposition that the divine light presents in the heart. The heart means where you feel lub-dub. Gently turn to the heart. Begin the meditation upon the divine light and continue for about 30 to 45 minutes. Note: the training in Sahaj Marg for the meditation takes place with the help of pranahuti, pranasya. Pranha, elan vital. 2. Cleaning. In the evening, the method of cleaning is prescribed. Following is the method. Sit in an easy posture comfortably in an airy place, duly closing the eyes. Begin the cleaning procedure. Affirm to yourself that you are getting cleansed of all sorts of grossness, impressions, wasteful thoughts, complexities, impurities, dirt and diseases. Darkness and solidities are going away from my constitution in the form of smoke and vapor through my back. I am getting cleansed. At the end, I am cleaned. Application. Pull from the end portions of your body and throw it out through your back by applying your will. For about 30 to 45 minutes. And the result should be light, fresh and eased. 3. Prayer before bedtime for about 15 minutes. Sit in a prayer mood and submit your day through events and feel repentance for the wrongs done, knowingly or unknowingly, and seek the strength not to repeat the same. Make a resolve, and go to sleep in the prayer mood, so that the sleep's time gets connected to the divine. Unconsciously you are connected, and the sleep time was consumed with the constant remembrance with the life connection with a divine. 4. Constant remembrance. After the meditation before sunrise. During the wakeful state. To get connected with the divine, use the constant remembrance as a means and be in constant remembrance. Consciously put efforts. This above method of practice is meant for beginners only. And thereafter, of the maturity of the practice, an individual is asked to contact the trainer or the preceptor or the master for further guidance, duly informing him his experiences. Thereafter of some time, Shri Babuji Maharaj had introduced an universal prayer at 9 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. for 15 minutes for all the abhyasas of Shri Ramchandra Mission to develop universal brotherhood. By practicing the above-mentioned method of practice correctly and regularly, in the life of an abhyasi you can see the 10 commandments lively. The book is theoretical portion and the result is living of an abhyasi. Uniqueness of the method of Sahaj Marg meditation. The uniqueness of this method of practice is Raj Yoga in the light of Sahaj Marg, not the method of Raj Yoga. Second uniqueness of this method is cleansing. As per the critical observation and deep study of all religious practices of India and the world, religious orders to find any method of cleaning of this efficacy and declared that it is unique feature of Sahaj Marg only, and to mention that there is some kind of cleansing method in Jainism, said by Shri K.C. Vardachari ji, whom Shri Babuji Maharaj used to address him as Vidyachari. Help and support is available. Shri Babuji Maharaj used to give a lot of stress and importance to cleansing. It is called method of preparation of an individual, abhyasi, without which no chance of any spiritual progress. Further he used to say, bhai, a lot of my time is wasted or consumed in cleansing only. He instructed all preceptors to train abhyasas well to accomplish the task of cleansing by themselves and also cleanse the abhyasas thoroughly before sending them to Shahjahanpur or coming to Shahjahanpur. Third uniqueness of Sahaj Marg is transmission, pranahuti, pranasya pranha, एलान वाइटल। ट्रांसमिशन क्या नहीं जाता है? ट्रांसमिशन हो जाता है, ट्रांसमिशन कैन नॉट बी गिवन. But it occurs. Shri Babuji Maharaj said, with the help of transmission. The training takes place in Sahaj Marg or Shri Ramchandra mission. And it is the direction by Shri Babuji Maharaj, and the same direction is upon the prefect and preceptor certificates. The speciality of the transmission is, it cleanses, it enriches, it prepares, it molds, it tunes, it mends, and it evolves the soul. It is the surest means to all consciousness and to all superconscious states. Justice Dr. Vittal Rao had asked Revered Rao Sahab, what is transmission? Reply by Revered Rao Sahab is, merging yourself in other self is transmission. Was at Shahjahanpur in the year 1988. During Basant Panchami celebrations. In the Rai Bahadur Shri Badri Prasad ji room. In the wee hours of 300 am around, when Shri Rajkumar of Bombay brought very hot tea for 5 of us. Revered Rao Sahab, Shri Vittal Rao, Shri Innagiri of Raichur, and Shri Jagannath Rao Disfande of Gulbarg, and myself, Suresh Kumar Maakam of Bangalore. Transmission occurrence is by 5 methods, which was mentioned by my Acharya Deva, and the following are: by sight, by voice, by heart, by will, and by touch. Largely, and by touch is the most powerful, and the effect is permanent. Example in the spiritual history of India. Very prominent ones are Sant Kabir, Shri Vivekananda Ji Maharaj, whose instant transformation was achieved by the touch of their masters, gurus. Shri Kesi Vardachari Ji's instantaneous transformation was also by touching the holy feet of Shri Babuji Maharaj. This instance was told to me by Shri Rao Sahab. Shri Babuji Maharaj might have made number of such men whose knowledge I didn't have. Training, analysis and introspection, uniqueness, continuation. From time immemorial mankind witnessed in all its civilizations. Historically recorded, oral history TTHE, and made to known definitions about God, and the mankind is always eager to find the ultimate definition and state of the ultimate, the God. This inert zeal, inexplainable, impulsive yearning led to research in this field called Atma Vignan, Shastra, and the saints of India named them as yogis, Yoga Vignan. This long time, rather very long time, unfulfilled yearning of the mankind was fulfilled by Shri Babuji Maharaja by his inventions and definition of the God, the ultimate. At last and finally the myth is cleared, the ultimate was unveiled and revealed by him and oozed out from him. The region of heart, the region of mind, the central region, the center, Bhuma, and final state. Further to the wonderment of the mankind and in the interest of the posterity, Shri Babuji Maharaj benevolently pictographically presented in the form of intrinsic circles, and specifying each region with number specified circles, which are spheres in nature. The region of heart has 5 circles. The region of mind has 11 circles. The central region has 7 circles. The center, the first Rishi WHO discovered and reached central region, is still swimming in the vastness, but not reached the center point. That is the extent of his research for the convenience of mankind and assuring the posterity and blessing them forever that the research will be going on in every field, and HE will support eternally that aspect of the mankind, and research of every kind will touch the shore of vast oceans of knowledge and end in the betterment of the mankind. And he further extended it by the declaration, for the research is the final state in the kingdom of spirituality. The final state, the newly born baby, a child, is the final state, and it means it is a bundle of joy, innocency, purity, and so on so forth. Everything it has, but it has nothing. It is anything, but it is still nothing. In every poet, in every language of all times, known and unknown of the mankind history, seriously attempted all along in attempts are on still to define the state of child and child, but still they are all remained in the shore, picking up some pebbles, only forgetting about reaching the ocean of child, newly born baby. This a feeble attempt of novice, by me to give some glimpse of insight of the greatness, vastness and depth of the subject of final state. His compassion oozed out further, having no bounds for the creation and for the mankind, and he further expanded his vision of research, and he set the wheel of fortune in sipping state by spinning the motion of research in spirituality, and that affected research in every field and sciences in. He discovered the milestones of power centers in spirituality within the human frame. And he boosted it further with uncanny precision, and this kind of mind and intellect came into existence for the well-being and welfare of the mankind, and it became now part of the process of human evolution, and this, which was so precious, was born out of his unfathomable heart, and he numbered those power centers as 64 in total, and as well as he marked the locations in the human body, but left a caution and note to the mankind, not to be lax and remain always alert and be aware of the importance for the research in the field or spirituality with strenuous practice and under proper guidance. And further he stated that there are still number of points are emerging and his research is on. He once said to revered Raghavendra Rao Sahab that such amount of literature should develop in Sahaj Marg system, and one man cannot read that entire literature in one's lifetime. This is possible only when the research is an ongoing state backed with rigid, rigorous, relentless, stern practice with right and proper guidance, and to indicate the need and necessity of the guide, teacher and master by clearly demarcating the spiritual journey with one's own effort within one life. With human body, having a right kind of human birth, which can accommodate such kind of practice of such extent of practice, and that is the pinnacle of human effort, and a point of reach was declared by Shri Babuji Maharaj, and that is up to mind region. Not beyond that, and that example was quoted by Shri Babuji Maharaj, and that great saint is no other then Sant Kabir Sahib, second phase of spirituality journey, which is not possible at all to ascend with self-effort and within one life. With human body, this identification of difference is nothing but pure innovation of high degree discovery in a field of spirituality, and it is an insignature print of sovereign emperor of creation and a gift to the mankind which was never occurred in the annals of mankind, and that is marking and sizing of achievable height of spiritual progress by human being with self-effort, and that too with human body within the span of life. Indeed, it is a rare feat and unique occurrence in any spiritual order till date, and the whole credit goes to the method of practice of Sahaj Marg only, and to Shri Babuji Maharaj. This above-mentioned research was also supported and discovered as so or as mentioned above by Shri Babuji Maharaj is by none other than Shri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and it was in the words of revered Raghavendra Rao Sahab, who said to me, of the words of Shri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, I attempted to peep through the next higher state, and I received a huge jolt pushing me back, and then realization was dawned upon me that this is the extent up to which it is possible for the mankind lot to reach with human body, and if attempted further my body will be shattered to pieces. And then he concluded that this is the limit of human spiritual progress by self-effort, and my comment is that human should be like an enlightened one, like Shri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. The above-mentioned region beyond the reach of Sant Kabir Sahib and Shri Ramakrishna Paramhamsa is the central region, and to enter into central region it is impossible for anyone with human body. till the advent of Mahatma Samartha Sadguru, Shri Ramchandraji Maharaj of Fatehgarh, who is Adi Guru and the divine light, and he is the prodigal son of nature, and his birth is not accidental, and it is the dire need for the creation and mankind, hence he descended on the earth in. Shri Babuji Maharaj said that Shri Lalaji Maharaj had visited this planet Earth first time in only time, and he never bloomed anywhere in the creation and in any time. Only once, and this is the only time, and he never had any past birth or past life. The divine light as mentioned in the meditation practice of Sahaj Marg is Shri Lalaji Maharaj only. As mentioned by Shri Babuji in the sacred book of his revelation named as Sahaj Marg Philosophy, Shri Babuji Maharaj has offered his master, Shri Lalaji Maharaj as object of meditation to facilitate meditation process and set into motion of divine grace to descend upon Abhyasi and to get illuminated. In the final revelation of union, there was a couplet in Urdu language and its English translation was, "You and I became one. Now nobody can say that you are different and I am different." In one letter Shri Lalaji Maharaj written about the state and stage of Shri Babuji Maharaj is that of Fana, and Bakha, which was the prostate before the final state of union. In another letter Shri Lalaji Maharaj writes stating that, Ramchandra Gar ki chirag, ban gaya. The above mentioned processes clearly mentions about the presence of teacher and training module as well as the disciple, which are indispensable factors for any method of practice. So this is the point of demarcation of spiritual ascending possibility with body in one phase and with the help of guide, guru, trainer or teacher and master of that caliber, who has the capacity to train. In Voice Real Volume 2, a letter by revered Raghavendra Rao Sahab to an individual Abhyasi was published, and Shri Rao Sahab writes stating that Abhyasi was given a grant of central region and Shri Babuji Maharaj had assigned that Abhyasi's further training in central region to Shri Rao Sahab, and connectedly Shri Rao Sahab writes to him inviting him to his dilapidated humble home with ambrosial shower. Such a one who is capable of training in the central region and beyond is available in Shri Ram Chandra mission and was prepared by Shri Babuji Maharaj, and all that which Shri Babuji Maharaj can do was bestowed on revered Rao Sahab, and Rao Sahab himself is the branch. It is not a place, and a place is made revered one, but no place is made a revered one, and for administrative purpose every organization names a place, and in spirituality, and it is all about spirit and practice of spirit only, and the same thought was present in full in all the revelations of Shri Babuji Maharaj in his intercommunication as well. One statement by Shri Babuji Maharaj was that he took up the job of finding sacred and holy places in India and wanted to purify them further and charge them. Lord Krishnji Maharaja's umbilical cord burial place in recent one way back in 1970s when Shri Babuji Maharaj had visited Tirupati, and on the request of Shri K.C. Vardachari ji he visited Tirumala hills and paid respectful visit to the temple, and while Shri I.S. Babuji Maharaj was still in the precincts of temple, Shri K.C. Vardachari ji had inquired about the temple and deity, and Shri Babuji Maharaj said that he charged the temple for 100 years to come. Revered Raghavendra Rao Sahab had given a grant to me to travel along with him throughout Europe and as well as throughout India, and he specifically mentioned of his charging the holy places in India and number of saints of different orders of world. Interational travel and DIETIES darshan, and saints accompanying us with absolute precision of the work became visible. With the help of SUPERCONSCIOUS states of different strength and capacity. was given to my lot to experience at the atmic level, which is called impatience. So it is clear that the place by itself remains as place only till it is charged and maintained by the saint of the caliber, but not otherwise or by other way. Unstoppable zeal, unending with everlasting zest for the well-being of mankind and for the creation, and he is born to serve only, and that is how he is enswayed through the arena of spirituality with his passing wink of an eye. He dealt the source spirituality and evolved the spirituality. Further, he manifested it to its perfection. Thereafter he continued his research and achieved the great task. Grouping, and he succeeded in grouping entire found power centers, and he declared them as 13 knots or grandhis. They were highly and densely concentrated power centers which were descended from above. The ultimate, as roots, in each and every knot has comprised of number of superconscious states in, as one supreme superconscious state, holding number of superconscious states within one knot with a very fine and subtle and thin difference between of them. It is almost impossible to name them differently, as they appear akin apparently but are different in reality. Between of each knot of 13 knots, the superconsciousness is starkly different with a clear different state, and by and large it is easy to distinguish and differentiate amongst them. The above subject matter, which is dealt here, is very unique and special, and perhaps none of the spiritual masters of your dealt it till date. And training is imparted with full knowledge and clarity of all the aspects, and taking into account all the member elements of the subject and also of the abhyasi. Such an approach of the subject matter and to the subject issues with such clarity are not prevalent in this arena of spiritual teaching and training, thereby making this method of practice as an unique practice. Random way is my approach, and my write-up is as it descends, and I don't refer usually any book in. All my expressions are based upon my experience, which are originated by the practice module set out by my Acharya Deva under the directions of the Master. Mind is to the preceptor, heart is to the Master. I did follow and adopt the above mentioned directions of Shri Babuji Maharaj till date. Accordingly, I submitted to my Acharya Deva, preceptor, direct communion with the divine and with Shri Babuji Maharaj to reach him to begin the practice is almost a rare feat, a rare occurrence, and I had not come across such an abhyasi who began meditation of Sahaj Marg in the Shri Ramchandra mission from the time Shri Ramchandra mission came into existence in 1945. Generally coming to contact with Shri Ramchandra mission for the meditation practice of Sahaj Marg is through word of mouth, by books, literature of Shri Babuji Maharaj, or through the family's acquaintance, friends, colleagues, or by visits to the ashrams, centers, or visit to the headquarters. And majority of beginners can be traced through acquaintances of organizers, prefects, preceptors, and other office bearers. In almost all the interested beginners, they were primarily thinkers and familied people, and all these people, they have traditional practices of religious orders. As India is the home of about 6,000 castes and number of religions, and in form or the other in their lives and their families, traces of acceptance of existence of God and worships of practice of deities in their origin of lineage is backed with Gotras and Gotra rishis. There are some idealists, atheists, Viraktashramas, singles, male and female genders, and also other gender compatible people with different sexual orientations are also able to practice. This method of practice is dynamic in nature and could be adoptable to one and all in all times and in all time zones of the globe. The above is my experience as a teacher, and the method of meditation did work to all the above mentioned people. I have undertaken this above-mentioned analysis, which I felt is essential from the viewpoint of the training, as this is a school of thought, and this is Brahma Vidya, and practices are involved. Intellectual acumen is essential. Literacy is also a primary need, and each beginner of the practice hails from different faiths background, traditions, worships, families, castes, creed, religion, nationality, and aptitudes with different kinds of educational, professional, vocations, employments, service backgrounds, social services, and upbringings, and living in family spreads with different ethics and moral backgrounds. An individual appears and presents. Before becoming an abhyasi who intends to practice meditation, who pursues the meditation to have realization, with the complex traits, qualities, aptitudes, with the basis of morals and ethics of his own, might have drawn from the general morals and ethics of the world and also from his family. We will quote here an example of food and hygiene habits of the world populace who are inclusive of Aboriginal too to get the hint of difference. We can observe this difference between vegetarianism and non-vegetarianism very broadly speaking, without taking any sides of any argument. And it is a neutral observation for the reader to read it as such with a spot of mind. That individual also had and carried a touch of faiths and practices with innumerable knowledge streams affecting him, who has an access to the information and also well read, and might have been in receipt of divine impulses, and might have got connected to the divine vibrations and waves apart from knowledge-born waves. Intellect stirred tides and living based upon his likes and dislikes and desires. So that is how he presents before he sets himself to begin the practice. And with this background, he sets his course of his journey through the sacred and holy texts, scriptures of revelations, which are absolute purity and pure divine of Shri Babuji Maharaj, of profound truths in the form of his writings, which became the literature of Sahaj Marg, which were penned by him personally. Somewhere some truth struck him, the intended abhyasi, and his soul got stirred, and acceptance flown out. Thence the intended aspirant or seeker requests or seeks formal inception into the method for him to have self-realization or God-realization. This is how Shri Babuji Maharaj framed the aims and goals in the constitution, and he set the method of practice in the sacred and holy literature to achieve those aims and goals which are part of the constitution of Shri Ramchandra Mission. I am representing the aims and goals below to have the connectivity of the reading and not to lose. To spread Brahmavidya, to remove oppression from the oppressed, to help those honest and sincere seekers for the self or God realization within a short span of time. Within this life, see the greatness of the Master here. What a great masterly stroke it is upon an intended aspirant. How he has driven him to the point that to have realization you have to practice this method and to begin with meditation. And he achieved the above aims and goals. He gracefully spread the Brahmavidya with his benevolence and compassion. He removed the oppression, which was cast by him, which became the layers of avidya and produced darkness. And that intended seeker was in confusion and complex state. And that caused oppression. And he gave the light, revealed the truth. He bestowed the peace through his writings and made him ready. And that intended one was well convinced, and he made up his mind to seek the help. With benevolence, with kindness, with love, he extended his hand of help and assisted the intended one by maintaining all along dignity and decorum of human relationships, one-sided assuring him, one-sided recognizing his intent, and his respecting him. He set his help to flow to him. Not a single thought to cross of the intended one that he is inferior, that he is of lacunas. but elevating his spirit with an encouragement by respecting all his views and knowledge, but at the same time firm in presenting his view about the practice, and with grace stating that there is no shortcut to the goal other than practice and hard work, with a gentle reminder to the intended one to put his share of efforts, and made him to understand that he has already put his efforts, and ever ready to go further in helping and assisting. Beautiful. Classic of his achieving the aim and goal. That is called the masterly stroke. In one go he removed the burden upon the intended one of that huge goal of realization. And he further lightened his spirit, stating that you need not seek, you need not plead, you need not request the help or the assistance. I have already given, and I am present. The spirit is enlivened in him with this approach. Now the intelligent intended one analyzes it, and surprisingly he finds the truth of his utterances. Yes, I have a full theory, philosophy, practical guidelines and role models also. And I have ample proofs and evidences indelible in this method of practice, Sahaj Marg and Shri Ramchandra mission. When the intended one sets into motion further his analysis with absolute mathematical precision, he finds not stepping stones, but steps itself with well-laid stairs to ascend to the goal. To begin with, he found Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj, as mentioned by Shri Babuji Maharaj. And then he noted another truth, that divine light is Shri Lalaji Maharaj only in Sahaj Marg. With the sharpness of his intellect, he could zero down that Shri Babuji Maharaj gave his master only as the basis or object of meditation. It was a thrill to pass through his mane by observing his master's absolute surrender and oneness with Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj. And he could get the tidings of the great love enactment between of them. Then further, when he set into motion his thinking, to think about what? He stumbled upon the prayer itself to begin his thinking. And he thought further, let me begin with it. And the prayer surprisingly began. The very address charmed him. To read, O Master. Brakes were applied automatically of his thinking, and he stopped literally. That pause which his thinking gave by stopping the thinking process itself led him to go further. Deep into his self, pondering began. Again trickling of thoughts started falling, and he started gathering within that pass of time. And that droplet of the trickle of thought gathered sufficiently and led him to express to himself, there is nothing further and beyond other than him, and he is all. He is in all. And that truth, and there is nothing more, can be conveyed to me in the next stanzas. That is it. And this is it. But intended one's analyst intellect came to his rescue in one way. Directed him to further continue going through the prayer of the stanzas. He reads to himself further. Thou art the real goal of human life. The imperience sprang up inner, led him to the wonder. And an utterance came involuntarily from his mouth, that is what I thought, and I stopped there. And he argued with his own intellect. See, that is what I thought. You pestered me to go ahead. This became a surprise hit, though it gave a lull to his mind, and thought stopped. And pause was there, but a kind of curiosity sprang up to read further stanza. We are yet but slaves of wishes. The mirror of self which is veiled and got unveiled. And he could see as, I am yet but slaves of my wishes. Though not as, we. Word disappeared, rather it went to thin air. I, only remained. This gave a shock. Shock waves spread over, and gripped him. And these wishes of mine are larger than me and my portrait, he felt. And further he felt intellectually, theoretically, academically, verbatim wise, I accepted it. That, O Master, is the only thing that is sufficient. And further I continued my acceptance that, thou art the real goal of human life. It is to my liking and satisfaction too. I am yet but slaves of wishes. This is real and true. And he summed up a little courage and read the stanza to complete, putting bar to our advancement. Rather, he read it out to himself as, putting bar to my advancement. After going through this in his own way, he got fixed squarely in his own pit. Till the time he thought external, outer, and the world and other things are obstacles, deterrents, botherations and troubles and worries. But the realization dawned on him along with his recollection of the noble truths, and he stumbled upon one stanza from the Lord Buddha's 5 Noble Truths, which begins with, "Desires are the root cause of the misery." It perfectly tallied. This stanza he could tally with the ancient wisdom and of the great men. Literally, he could not move further at all, because all the blame game, all the finding faults, all his suspicion, all his doubts, all his inaction, all his cowardiceness, all his running away from the responsibilities, all his escaping attitudes, and all his reasoning capacity to find a new reason every now and then and continuously came to an end. And he is in his own pit squarely. A wise man said, if you want to give a reason for not doing, you can give 1,00,000 reasons every day but still not doing the work. But the simple truth is, to do the job. Not to blame is also nailed him further, rather it is a last straw on the camel back, or he was perfectly in his own coffin, fully nailed. Nailing is completed. Only left over is burial. This is absolute helplessness gripped in his heart, and a kind of seizure he experienced in his brain and body. Then a thought passed through his turmoil mind. Why don't I look to him, the Master? That very thought gave him a great relief, solace to the mind, and he rested in peace. He got a new-found courage to further go through the stanza. When he began, it was a joy of fullness to read that stanza. Thou art the only God and power. He stopped there. He found the shelter. He found the refuge. He found the shepherd. And he became a little innocent lamb to hand over to the good shepherd, the Master, intent to lick at the hands of the shepherd. The innocent lamb. Till now he forgot the goal, the aim, the realization, the self in God. But he was in an enamored state. He uttered, to bring me up to that stage. None existed other than him. And he further went on to feel that, me, only the reality. And, we, are not the reality to me. He thought it is a full stop. He thought there is nothing beyond. Nothing than this. Acceptance flown. Rather it has seeped in. And that seeped in started giving him a kind of a lull. When sufficient amount of flow in allowed by me, the lull continued, and it absorbed, not I absorbed. It absorbed. The witness I lost. And completed the process of absorption. Well, it had given a relaxed state. But the goal is not relaxed state. He started thinking again. His intellect started helping him. Then the guidelines of the Master came to his rescue. And his eye got caught with that small words. His semi-opened eye and semi-opened conscious read the memory page, and his mental eye got caught up with small words of the memory page. A pleasing sensation subtly creeping when he read and pondered over the meaning of the prayer. Suddenly a thought flashed. He muttered to himself, "Oh, a lot of preparation to begin the meditation." And further thought came. And further the thought got extended. "Oh, this has to be before every session of my meditation." Then he thought further, is it possible for me every time to achieve this? Okay, I have to achieve. This is the goal set. How I have to achieve? Something, there is a missing link. My understanding is not complete. He thought to himself, and his mind suddenly struck with one word. To help those in the aims and goals of the Constitution. As he is acquainted with the Kannada prayer also, he could recollect the prayer like this. O Natha, 9 Manava Jivanda Juri, 9 Eka Matra Swami Mattu Ista Devavu. Nanna Asegalu Nanna Atmanashali Badakagalagiv. Ninna Sahayavaled Ninna Prapti Asambhava. He depended more on his memory rather than reading from the book. Hence the above utterance, which was suited to his mindset at that time. This kind of a mulching happened because he was whisked away from his set views born out of his experiences within the short time. To his dismay, reality of his capacity has dawned upon him, and he fully accepted it that it is not his cup of tea. Every time for every meditation to achieve this kind of state, a pre-state for the meditation. Certainly he needs help. He needs support. He needs to be in touch with the subject matter by constantly going through the sacred texts of Shri Babuji Maharaj without fail so as to keep freshness of the subject matter in him, not refreshing of memory. Spirituality as such is a subject which is considered as tougher than the toughest for any standard of intellect and for any standard of intellectuals. Usually world accepts that the subject of mathematics is a tough subject, then followed by mechanical engineering, thereafter aeronautical engineering, tougher than it is physics. And next to that is philosophy, Eastern philosophy. Western philosophy and Oriental philosophy is they broadly got classified. Philosophy one is born out of mind and reasoning. Another is born out of the available texts. Another is commentaries. And other kind is born out of experiences, experiences, based upon practice individually and also training. Practice and guide a guru's support. Another one is direct descendants. Revelations. Examples like Moses the prophet, Lord Christ, Lord Mahavir, Lord Buddha, Prophet Pigambar, and into our modern times in India. Thereafter of Lord Christ's advent in the first millennium, Srimad Bhagavad Pada Adi Shankaracharya, Srimad Ramanujacharya, Srimad Madhvacharya, who are named as Trimathacharyas, who are the pillars of the present-day Hinduism. And further we can also quote Lord Baswanna and Akka Mahadevi of Virashava order, Sant Kabir Sahib, Lord Brahma Chaitanya ushering in Bhakti movement, Guru Nanak Sahib, Sikhism, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Arya Samaj, Shri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekanand, Shri Aurobindo, Supermind and Integral Yoga, Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj, Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj. We also have philosophies born out of Sufi order. In the Oriental philosophy Zen and Tao. And for the present day Buddhism, Dalai Lama. Western philosophers include prominent thinkers from the times before of Socrates to Socrates, Plato, Aristotle to René Descartes and to Immanuel Kant and to the modern times. Here are the clear guidelines of Shri Babuji Maharaj, better to understand from his own words. And I am reproducing the same verbatim from Shri Babuji Maharaj's books from his own words. Book, Autobiography of Ramchandra. Sometime later I became interested in philosophy and began to think out problems in my own way. It was at the age of 15 or 16 that I wanted to read philosophical books. I ordered Mill's Utilitarianism and went through a few pages of the book. A thought arose in my mind that if I studied such books I would be lost. I closed the book and put it aside, and developed my own thinking. From my very childhood, whoever saw me, whether he was a relative or a public man, thought me to be a dunce. I had a very unassuming nature and it is still there. But the phase is changed. Now people think me to be a simple man. Book, Letters to Raghavendra Rao, the 3rd of March 1955. I perfectly agree with you that books are not of much avail to us in the matters of realization. They only point out to us something which it is for us alone to practice and follow. But to follow the practices in the book is again a hard job and often dangerous too. It is only the personal help and support of a true and worthy guide that really counts. We have, therefore, to seek such a one if we aim at success. The 12th of October 1955. At the age of 14, I developed a fancy for philosophy. I did not read because of the fear of the creation of borrowed ideas. The 12th of December 1962. Western philosophy is based on doubt only. And in Eastern philosophy there is no entry to it. Sahaj Marg itself is a new darshan. It is pure philosophy born out of practice backed with eternal support and training with the help of transmission, pranasya pranha, elan vital. The transmission is the highest kind of a yogic prakriya which can be almost called as born out of second stir itself, which becomes the cause of and source of giving prana afresh. And all the prefects and preceptors of Shri Babuji Maharaj who had a deep-rooted connection with Shri Babuji Maharaj able to effect the occurrence of transmission. The transmission was fully prevalent during the Vedic period of times, and that incidents of use of transmission are available in our two great epics, Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Transmission during Ramayana times. During the period of Ramayana, at the time of the Great War, Rama Ravana Yuddha, Mahatma Agastya Maharshi had taught Lord Ram the Aditya Hridayam along with the transmission of the Elan vital with which the Lord Rama and Lord Lakshmana never got tired or exhausted and always fresh and free. There are a number of such incidents available in that great epic. Shri Babuji Maharaj revealed that Lord Ravana Brahma had the capacity of Panchagni Vidya at his command and ability to revive his system. Further in his intercommunication he mentions about Lord Shankara that he is having the command over the yoga prakriya and is able to revive his body into the state of youthfulness. Transmission during the Mahabharata times. And in the Mahabharata epic, before becoming Maharshi Vedavyasa, as a Krishna Dvepayana at the young age of 21, he effected the transmission to the then Emperor Shanatana Maharaj on the command and behest of his mother Mata Satyavati, and revived him back to the full health and vigor from the deathbed. Shri Babuji Maharaj himself has revealed the secret of Bhagavad Gita, and he writes that Lord Shri Krishnji Maharaj actually transmitted those states into the heart of Arjuna Deva, and he gave only 7 shlokas during the lifetime of Lord Shri Krishnji Maharaj. At the young 14 years of age he transformed the body of Kuba or Trivakra into a fine beautiful damsel by his mere touch. And his bout of wrestling and boxing, agility, suppleness, swiftness with which he fought, that those all the characters show of pure transmission source. He, himself, transmission during Vedic times. Vedic Saptrishis are referred as Brahmarshi Vashishta and Brahmarshini Mata Arundhati, Maharshi Marichi, Maharshi Angirasa, Maharshi Atri, Maharshi Pulastya, Maharshi Pulaha, Maharshi Kratu, and later added Brahmarshi Vishwamitra, who revealed the Gayatri and gave a grant of Gayatri mantra to the mankind. Brahmarshi Vashishta is the founder of pure thought of Brahman, undiluted Brahman, and the whole ancient Trivedas was stood upon by his strict adherence and rigid following of only Brahman. The prowess of transmission can be quoted from the event of Sahasrajuna and also of mention of Kamadhenu Nandini and Kalpavriksha, which are symbolical forms of manifestation of the power of transmission. Brahmarshini Mata Arundhati. Every Hindu marriage was sanctified in India from that time, which is time immemorial until now, by her blessings and the ritual performance of Arundhati Nakshatra Darshanam from the heavens. Who is a star in the Saptarishi Mandalam? To begin with, who has the power of transmission? Mata Ansuya, wife of Maharshi Atri, who transforms Trimurthis from grown-up people to babies, shows the power of transmission which can transform aged to young, and disease state to health. Atri Maharshi, who had repositories of Astra and Shastra along with Agastya. These are the two rishis who are in charge of the change of rulers on the globe. And here you can make a subtle observation that it is the Atmic strength which is the one will be enhanced, and which will take place with the help of transmission. And death is when the Atmic light becomes dim and disappears. It is the departure of the Atma itself from that body. The enhancement of the Atmic power is said to be the composition of power centers and higher super conscious states. Thereby the command was restored back to the Atma to maintain and manage the body and its functions. Help and support as per the assurances of the Constitution to an honest and sincere seeker of God. Realization and self-realization in a short span of time or within this very birth, the realization can be spoken in volumes. If we analyze the above statement of Shri Babuji Maharaj, there are multiple portions. One portion is role of intended seeker, role of the method, role of the training module, role of the trainer and the master on the apparent look, in intrinsic value which should be added to the above mentioned apparent roles. As a value added addition, also present. First factor in the intrinsic value list is age of the intended seeker, health, intellect, his seriousness, his sparing of time, his commitment, his ability to accommodate and adjust his life to the changes, sound education and other good civility and personality traits with the upheld morals and ethics. Standards of the world's civil society, these are the least could be mentioned and more can be needed to be added by the trainer. All the intrinsic values as mentioned above are fully present in the book. First volume, Autobiography of Ramchandra by Ramchandra. Any intended seeker or abhyasi can tally what he has with him. How he is to achieve such a tall goal set by Shri Babuji Maharaj, the Master. To summarize this in one statement, the perfect role model is Shri Babuji Maharaj himself which is living example to the eternity, and Shri Babuji Maharaj graciously penned his life only for the convenience of the posterity and to the eternity for the life as a disciple, under the tutelage of Shri Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj, and in one statement after receiving the first transmission, first smearing of the divinity, he records it in his diary. Writing this instant and his experience of the receiving of the first transmission is that he was elevated to the higher level or plane where the atmosphere and the condition is totally different, which gave a birth in his heart that Shri Adi Guru Lalaji Maharaj's only goal, and he aimed to achieve that goal of his life. And thereafter he further writes that he started accommodating the changes brought by the transmission and adjusting his life accordingly. Method of practice sprang up from his heart is the result of training of Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj. That he took up his master Shri Lalaji Maharaj is the object of mediation, keeping him in his heart and also permeating of him and pervading also. And further he placed Shri Lalaji Maharaj before him, and he himself is conducting the meditation. This became his personal practice. Note, for the exact verbatim is Shri Babuji Maharaj mentioned. Please refer the book The Autobiography of Ramchandra by Ramchandra. I am mentioning and quoting all these from my memory recollection. Thereafter some time he writes that he has not taught this practice to the abhyasis of Sahaj Marg. And this practice is very close and dear to his heart. And he is continuing. He gave the method of practice to the abhyasis as per the practicing manual for the beginners. The trainer, teacher, the guide and guru, the master. For this also Shri Babuji Maharaj set, and he declared a master like Shri Adi Guru Lalaji Maharaj should be available to mankind, and he said that he is fortunate to get him, and by getting him in, there is nothing left to get or to gain. He writes that Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj is the divine light, and he directed all the abhyasis of Shri Ramchandra mission of Sahaj Marg practice to meditate upon the divine light with a supposition that the divine light presents in the heart means where we feel loved up. Further about him I have mentioned in the earlier paragraphs of this write-up. All the above mentioned parameters are all present in the ancient system of practice and education, named as Brahma Vidya, and that Brahma Vidya curriculum is part of the ancient Raj Yoga, and that is the reason Shri Babuji Maharaj has named Raj Yoga in the light of Sahaj Marg. In the ancient school of thought, that ancient wisdom set out certain rudimentary and primary conditions of any new kind of Brahma Vidya education. By passing through the said rudimentary and primary conditions and to evolve and elevate itself with a dynamism by accommodating in all times for all people, at all places and to the posteriority too. The module of practice adopted by Shri Babuji Maharaj and the training imparted by Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj and all the member elements to pass through this test and further raised above, setting a new height and throwing new light back upon that rudimentary and primary conditions. Note, here I wish to mention a guidance of my Acharya Deva, preceptor revered Raghavendra Rao Sahib about the light, when my master's light thrown upon any subject matter of any kind, it will open up itself and understanding becomes very graceful along with its realization. Till such time, it is almost impossible to achieve this kind of feat. Intercommunications, clairvoyant states, such statements are foreign to the country of their birth. As an intended abhyasi, whose intellect got baffled when he began to view the titles of the books, the present-day readers address any publishings without giving any importance to the subject matter, and address them as titles only by an author in the English language, which was not so our culture. Example, the sacred chant, Gayatri Mantra, was descended and revealed as a revelation to Brahmashi Vishwamitra. Srimad Bhagavad Gita was revealed and oriented to Arjuna Deva by Lord Krishnaji Maharaj. The epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, these expressions, though they are in the book forms, but nobody dared to use as above mentioned way. To the eyes of intended one's attention got caught with autobiography of Ramchandra by Ramchandra. When he made a cursory reading, he found to his surprise so plain of a submission of the master, Ramchandra, recording in the form of his diary of his day-to-day practice. So simple, so plain, so down to earth, his living as an employee, as a householder, as a meritorious, honest worker, though filled with nobleness of living, but veiling the nobleness, though hailing from royal family, having such a high lineage of his family ranging from judicial line to commanders of armies, but meekly submitting letters of appreciations from different people and organizations of his honesty, sincerity, nobleness of all other noble traits to present himself as a most common man and as an ordinary human being, without any prefixes or adjectives. He is leading the life as a normal ordinary family man. Once the intended one started opening further pages in a cursory glance, swiftly turning the pages, he was shell-shocked to observe masters the way and kind of writing diary in noting the contents with such a precision, like the President of India or King's or Emperor's method of noting with an orderliness, clarity, preciseness, directness, absolute and perfect legal document, giving no chance or opportunity to the reader to move his thoughts or mind either this side or that side of the subject matter. The master's expressions had fixed the intended one's going through, though it is a cursory. With an awe, the intended one got transfixed himself to observe the number of saints' presence, their blessings, their transmissions, their sharing of their wealth in Shri Babuji Maharaj's passing through of innumerable conscious states, but steadily, constantly, the presence of Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj with Shri Babuji Maharaj and the intended one is wondering how Shri Babuji Maharaj is able to interact with those different saints and deities with different orders with the language of English. Then he realized, it is true there is a communication. It is true there is the presence of saints. It is further true that is live interaction, and also it is true that they are no physically present, and it is further true that all those great men or personalities knew Hindi, Urdu or English language. But it is clear here that Shri Babuji Maharaj is able to understand, experience and to write and note with absolute clarity. The intended one doesn't know in all his known languages knowledge to name this process. But finally he got help from Shri Babuji Maharaj's writing only that it is called intercommunication. But his understanding is not complete. He is wondering how in these three languages that communication has taken place. Here I wish to add a reply from my Acharya Deva, my preceptor, revered Raghavendra Rao Sahib. Revelations occurs in the language known to the one who is getting revelations and communications as mind is prepared, heart is made and they are free from mala, vikashepa and avarana and they are pure. Then only it is possible. This answer for my same above query of the intended one. Subsequent to the intercommunication the presence of vision are present of the saints or great men. And that intended one's query is how he could see and feel and why those great men come to him only. Show themselves, introduce themselves and bless him only. Is there any criteria why those great men and saints are appearing to him only, when there were so many number of other abhyasas and close dear and near ones to Adi Guru Lalaji Maharaj, and Shri Babuji Maharaj is young and new entrant, without any experience or achievements on the path of spirituality. When compared to the stalwarts and big names of Adi Guru Lalaji Maharaj's disciples, and he is not even a preceptor, and also there was no such amount of nearness to Shri Lalaji Maharaj or closeness with him, apparently, based upon all. Shri Babuji Maharaj is not a chosen one by Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj or even fit to receive such blessings. That was the kind of feel and opinion prevalent amongst devotees of Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj. I too had such query at that time when I read the autobiography of Shri Babuji Maharaj that all the saints, great men, intercommunications, clairvoyant state, has become his fortune only, when there were many stalwarts, great devotees and Shri Adi Lalaji Maharaj's own brother, preceptors of Shri Lalaji Maharaj were present, but this great boon was for Babuji Maharaj only in. He only became the chosen one. For this query, when I presented to my Acharya, my preceptor, revered Raghavendra Rao Sahib, way back in 1990s, he gave the following reply. It is the love of his disciple which was so immense for his master, Guru, by seeing such a devotion and also love of his master upon the disciple. Saints of the caliber, moved and felt that, let me also bless this child of spirituality. He has immersed in the great love of his master and his master was attracted to the disciple. So he became deserving. Hence the blessings pour on him and preparation becomes so swift by his master and he becomes quickly proper and fit in the matters of reception of blessings, not otherwise, and this is the secret and special criteria. Just following the given method of practice. Without devotion, reading the literatures alone cannot assure an abhyasi definite and certain of results without his devotion and love to his master. The above was the explanation was given to me by my Acharya Deva. Certainly I am of no match of experience and abilities to express this kind of clarity at that time. of my beginning of my practice. But the fact is such kind of gaps stays in the self and fullness of faith cannot take place in a. Strength of the faith is also lacking, which becomes detrimental for the right kind of practice because the subject of spirituality is for the lot who are basically thinkers, and that too this method of practice is based upon thought power. By utilizing the thought power man is whatever he is. Shri Babuji Maharaj said, again, with the help of the thought power only he will be redeemed of his present state and chance of ascending is assured with that thought power only. As Shri Babuji Maharaj put it, that the kingly quality in human is thought power, and whence used the thought power to harness itself, thought power, and to achieve the union, and that process is called as Raja Yoga. In Sanskrit the work, yog, means union, and it is born out of yujur. So all the methods of practices envisaged to achieve this union, with the help of thought power is called Raja Yoga, and that achievement through the means of Sahaj Marg is called, in the light of Sahaj Marg, the efficacy Raja Yoga, because the means are provided by the Sahaj Marg, and the means all you know is prayer, meditation, cleansing, bedtime prayer, constant remembrance, pranahuti, with the goals and aims and the personality. With these helps we achieve the union. And that is the reason Shri Babuji Maharaj aptly titled, Efficacy of Raja Yoga in the Light of Sahaj Marg. This book is a depository of knowledge, which knowledge was not revealed from the time immemorial or available in the recorded history of mankind. The two words, one is intercommunication, and another is clairvoyant state, to understand for the novice like me or the intended one. So much of analysis had become imminent in order to place the module of practice on a very sound foundation, and that very word, intercommunication, is not being in use in any modern knowledge science streams, including the traditional orthodox texts of India and the world of any kind of religious or spiritual orders. It almost reached to the point of extinction and forget about proof and availability. Such word being used as a modern man to accept its existence without any proof and evidence is difficult, which should be a finality of proof, and that is provided by Shri Babuji Maharaj as a disciple, a great lover, a devotee of no match, and though he is living like us and amongst us as a family man and of our times, and he achieved the perfect union and declared and presented himself as the master, and after becoming the master, he revealed his experiences in the print form, and that print form is named as the efficacy of Raja Yoga in the light of Sahaj Marg, which had come in his clairvoyant state. In that state and for that state, there is no present, there is no past, there is no future. It is like everything is on his table and every book is in his shelf. Very crudely to say, in a theological wise to say, that state is the state of all knower, the state of all doer, the state of all possessor. But at the same time, he is innocent like a child. His presentation of revelations belongs to time immemorial, stretching from into mystic history, belongs to oral history, belongs to epochs, belongs to areas not revealed till date, and few to quote here are the following: the state of Trimurtis, the state of conscious keeper, Narada Maharshi, the state of Ravana Brahma, the state of Vedic Saptarishis, the state of great Rishi Durvasa, who is known as Rudra, the state of Yuga Purushas, the state of all the gods and goddesses of the worshipping deities of India and the world, and exact and actual state of the ultimate, the exact and actual state of true philosophy, presenting it as his very state of innumerable saints of world spiritual order of the past and present, and the powers and the spiritual power and the consciousness in their altitudes and dimensions, and the spiritual stages and states in a form of Abdul, Daruva, Dhruvaripati, Parishad and Mahaparishad and other innumerable divine functionaries. Intercommunication as per the dictionary meaning is the action of engaging in the two-way communication from the mundane earthly plane, but when it is used in the spiritual subject, in the spirituality, without the personalities, without the body and their existence and their living at different times and at different places and different dimensions of the spirituality to receive and to share grace. There was one communication from Adi Guru Shri Lalaji Maharaj to Shri Babuji Maharaj about Kamsa, the ruler of Mathura, the brother of Mata Devki, maternal uncle of Lord Shri Krishna and Balaram Deva, about his state of soul. Put a ring of destruction around the soul of Kamsa and destroy it. He had created havoc in the country and escaped from Lord Shri Krishna Maharaj. Shri Babuji Maharaj accomplished the task. Communication from Lord Vivekanand to Shri Babuji Maharaj, single-handedly you have achieved the great task of liberating India, granting freedom. All the credit goes to you. Intercommunication from Mata Radha, your love to your Guru is greater than my love to Lord Krishna. Now you are my brother. Your love is so great to your Guru, he left the brighter world, came down to be with you. Quote, such an event never occurred in the annals of the mankind. Note, this is out of my memory lanes. Please go through the autobiography which contains this for full details. Note, revered Raghavendra Rao Sahib has mentioned about above mentioned, present and living of great personalities in Shri Babuji Maharaj himself while he was living physically during his times at Shahjahanpur, UP, India. That above mentioned statement is the physical proof which people had experienced and seen in Shri Babuji Maharaj only, and this is an answer he, revered Raghavendra Rao Sahib, gave it to me. Appa, why you used to introduce yourself when you meet Shri Babuji Maharaj, while touching his feet and kissing his feet, with the word Babuji. I am Raghavendra Rao from Raichur, and reply used to be, Acha. Bhai aa gaye ho. Reply, Ji Babuji. He further answered my query stating that, we don't know the Great One, where he will be, in what plane, in what dimension, in what realm he will be. So it is the responsibility and duty as an individual. Also it is an etiquette to be maintained by an abhyasi while meeting him. Second incident which was mentioned to me by Shri revered MD Jahagirdar Sahib about one abhyasi who was staying with Shri Babuji Maharaj for 3 or 4 days. Shri Babuji Maharaj inquired with him, Bhai Jahagirdar, where is that abhyasi who used to come? Did he come? The reply from Jahagirdar Sahib used to be, Babuji wo take chair din ho gaye. Wo yahi hai, and he participated in all satsangs. He met you number of times and spoken to you too. Acha, 4 din ho gaye aake. Humko malum bhi nahi pada. Another one, while Shri Babuji Maharaj was travelling from abroad to India. In the plane, when he used to get up from the sleep and used to inquire with Mr. Chari, Hum kahan hain? Quote, where am I? And in some place in abroad he wakes up and asks the attender, Hum Shahjahanpur mein hain kya? Quote, Nahi Babuji, hum yahan hain. No Babuji, we are in this place. Attender used to reply, if a reader wanted to find such incidents he can find Shri Babuji Maharaj's trips or world tours, like Malaysia, Singapore, Germany, Denmark, France, Egypt, South Africa, America and so many other countries. You can find such examples of Shri Babuji Maharaj present in different places and dimensions though physically he is present at one specific particular place, time, day, date and country. In his intercommunications of South India trip at Rameshwaram, A saint of Ceylon was allotted the duty of taking care of him, and in return he elevated him to next level and extended his jurisdiction of area and empowered him further. This incident also you can read along with the above. Further, Shri Babuji Maharaj searched the whole universe and creation to find the presence of Shri Ganeshji Maharaj. Mythological lore recorded that he is the son of Lord Shiva and Parvati. In that story everybody knows and writes that there is no such deity existing and it is not God creation. He further goes on record to say that Shri Ganeshji Maharaj is nothing but, perhaps, maybe, the power of Mooladhara Chakra form. The moral of this revelation is, his domain is whole universe and creation, and he is in travel to all, and he knows all the deities of godly creation, godly machineries and divine functionaries. The above statement is a final declaration of existence of different planes and dimensions of spiritual and divine, and also he is a regular visitor. Nay, he is present in those planes and dimensions and at the same specific time, though he is present physically at one specific place. Day, date, time, month, year and country. Now come to the time module of human race emergence. Creation of animation emergence and creation itself, and his traversing through the times of historically recorded times, oral history recorded times, mythologically recorded times and epics recorded times, and beyond up to the point of, rather beginning of, first emergence of human and to before the human race existence, and in the Ashtanga Yoga of an ancient yogic science precincts and premises. About Samadhi mentioning, Samadhi state mentioning, and also, by the practice of meditation reaching the state of Samadhi is possible, and Shri Babuji Maharaj practically granted this to so many, and recipients of the state experience are many in number. Available in this method of practice, which became a declaration that he has mastery over state of Samadhi and further to and thereafter. This is the spiritual mastery. About intercommunications, the living proofs we, the faithfuls who believe and accept Shri Lalaji Maharaj as Adi Guru and Shri Babuji Maharaja as the personality, the Yuga Purusha. And Shri Babuji Maharaj prepared and made the one and only the one is revered Raghavendra Rao Sahib. And I personally experienced revered Raghavendra Rao Sahib as Adipurusha, Sanatana, the Adipurusha, in all these times of these personalities. Reverberating, resounding proofs of intercommunications are amply and fully available, recorded and continue to remain. In these aspects, Shri Babuji Maharaj recorded in the autobiography of Ramchandra during his lifetime, which book presents intercommunication during his studentship and also after his declaration of his masterhood. As per his command, those intercommunications, which were recorded by him during his lifetime while physically living at Shahjahanpur, which were got published thereafter his physical wailing. Certain portion of intercommunication which was recorded during his lifetime as per his wish got published and available. That sacred and holy literature is available, and it will satisfy the reader to his fullest satisfaction without leaving slight or lightest doubt about this subject matter called intercommunication. I have no knowledge such intercommunications were there with any other great men recorded in published matters pertaining to AATMIC knowledge. Though it is perfectly two-way communication, but the plane and dimension is different. One-sided Shri Babuji Maharaj is having a body and living at the particular place and time in. Within these factors, the communication is occurring with bodiless state and spiritual state, and the transmission of a communication from the bodiless and spiritual state, X stage of transmitter or connector of his spiritual state. There are innumerable and countless stages of spiritual elevation up to the final state as mentioned by Shri Babuji Maharaj. The line of demarcation is the states and stages before the advent of Shri Lalaji Maharaj and thereafter of the advent and discovery of central region. To the body state of Shri Babuji Maharaj and with the place-based specific earthly time and of a place. But the communication is from beyond all these. But at the same time they are present at the place-based time module of Shri Babuji Maharaj's physical living place, and also receiver is on his language known based module, but the transmitter is of his language. As a rationalist, as a thinker, thinking with rationalism, it is reasonably correct to think, and if we think in the first place, why intercommunication is needed, why it continues, when it will get matured, when that communication will be ended or whether it will be ended at all. Generally, communication is the facilitating means for communication exchange. Such a great occurrence called intercommunication, which was never heard, never occurred, never mentioned, never got any proof or evidence, and that proof or evidence of occurrence of intercommunication from great personalities, saints, great men of the mankind of known times and unknown times, but got recorded, noted as a transliteration in the language of Urdu or English by Shri Babuji Maharaj during his tenureship as student under the tutelage of Shri Lalaji Maharaj, by which enabled Shri Babuji Maharaj to receive intercommunications from different sources, the saints, personalities and great men etc., and also the intercommunication continued thereafter of his declaration of representative of Shri Lalaji Maharaj. Intercommunication is needed for the dispensation of knowledge, dispensation of granting of grace, getting connected with those great personalities and states and instructions, guidance, directions, orientations, accomplished tasks, for the manifestation of an atmosphere and condition, paving pathway for the events to occur, incident to take place, primary tasks for cleansing, purging and purification of men and places, to act in all the great enterprises, like a war, and to effect changes of the world orders and to draw inspirations, power enhancement of abilities and capacities. When I am attempting to write or express about the spirituality and about yoga and about Raja Yoga, it appears to me that all my expressions are based upon my experiences born out of practice, training, guidance, and that too they have fallen in the domain of yoga, Raja Yoga. Hence it became imperative to introduce the readers about the genesis of Raja Yoga in the very words of Param Guru Ramchandraji Maharaj of Shahjahanpur, which he dealt in the chapter of Raja Yoga from the book of efficacy of Raja Yoga in the light of Sahaj Marg. In its verbatim, I am reproducing the very first paragraph of the chapter of Raja Yoga below. Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is the old system of science followed by the great riches and saints in help them in realizing self or God. It was prevalent in India long before the time of Ramayana. It was first introduced by a great rishi who lived 72 generations prior to Raja Dasharath of Suryavansh dynasty, Surya or Sun dynasty. He devoted much of his time pondering over a good deal find out a real method of achieving freedom, by which the problems of life could easily be solved. He was swimming in the central region, as described in the book, being mostly attached to the center itself. His state is akin to that of the present personality now working for the change, as required by nature. After pondering long over the subject, the great sage at last discovered the method which ultimately developed into what is known as Raja Yoga. It is named as Raja Yoga. The element with which the Raja Yoga is worked out is the thought power. And this element is the kingly element in human. This is an exclusiveness to mankind. With the help of this power named as thought power, human ascends and he says thought works. Rather with the utilization of the same thought power only, his fall taken place. And let us see what our Paramguru Shri Babuji Maharaja said about it in that very chapter called Raja Yoga, with its origins of his inventions, and of the thoughts works modalities, and how this can be found by anybody, and how this power only had become means for intercommunication, and as well as also for clairvoyant state means to clairvoyant vision and state, to reach, to feel, to see, to understand, to comprehend, to express, to communicate, etc. The following is the Paramacharya or Paramguru Shri Babuji Maharaja's findings. It flows. When he, the first Rishi, was in the close touch the center, he discovered the reality of the world with its cause or force in existence. He found out that the motion or stir or some power from beneath the center brought the present world into existence. The stirring thought is in other words called Upadan Karan. In Hindi also Upadan Karan, or Kshob, Keshob. At last he arrived at the conclusion that it is the outcome of the power which is similar to or identical with the thought power of man. Naturally he deduced that thought could bring out such results and that its power is unlimited. He then took work from the thought power which fell to our lot. And with it he started training. That is the basis of Raja Yoga or the king of yogas. The kingly thing in us is thought, which ultimately develops steering us to our goal. Sages after sages have improved and developed it as their practical experience increased. Thought ultimately takes the form of the reality, and appears in naked form. So to say, this can all be verified by the persons having clairvoyant vision of the highest merit. There may be different methods of teaching through this science, but the governing principles remains the same. With this power or force we establish a link with God. Improvements have, at times, been made by great sages to develop it according to the needs of the time. Commentaries have been written on this subject, discussing elaborately the philosophy of yoga. But the underlying thought is the state of vision, which a man must develop. This appears in their true perspective, and their mastery is revealed to him, who rose farther in his slender dugout and improves to the utmost. Shri Babuji Maharaja dealt further about the subject matters which goes hand in glove with the spirituality practice, training. Trainer is philosophy, and he clearly demarcated it. And better to know from his own words about the role, extent and limit of the subject matter called philosophy and its basis. And if anyone wanted to read it along with and as an inclusive of the subject matters of spirituality mixed with training, trainer, method, aims and goals which may not go well and may not help the reader to come to the conclusion and to evolve a decision by merely reading only philosophy to begin the practice. In the following, the wisdom about the philosophy flows. Generally the philosophers have attempted to reach the innermost core of things through reason, and not through vision. Reason, in its popular sense, may be faulty, and may fail us. But if a thing is seen through the intuitional insight without the unnecessary medium of reason, it will be visible in its original form without error or defect. Things have undergone such a change that it is very difficult to describe them at their particular steps. Shri Babuji Maharaj finds the root and the beginning of the knowledge of the philosophy. And he reiterates that it is from the time of the world existence. And he continues the declaration about the philosophy further in the following paragraphs, wherein he gives the hints about the existence of the world. Let the reader enjoy in his own utterances, which is the pure nectar. The world is in existence from the time immemorial, and the correct date is not to be traced out. Although certain persons have attempted to fix down the Srishti era, rotations and revolutions are going on. Their actions are multiplying. We must always attempt to find out things after raising about everything. That is the key point for the philosophers in order to note the accuracy of things. Generally, the philosophers have attempted things before actually going into the life of a practice. As is commonly the case with the Western philosophers, I may say that it is not certain that a philosopher, being a philosopher, cannot be corrupt or degraded. But there is no possibility of corruption or degradation if he has studied things by living a practical life. Sages in India, generally, have attempted philosophy by first going into the life of practicality. Never mind, they have not improved to the level depicted in it or required by the philosophy. They have attempted to open up the secrets of the existing things as far as they could do it there. Level of advancement. The outcome is the 6 schools of philosophies in their different hues and colors. We should always attempt the expression of things only when our practice or abhyas is over. In short, we should try to understand things when the knots begins to open by themselves. And it is the vision of the central region. I have talked about it later on. Everything that comes to our judgment from that place shall be correct without the least chance of error. Blank, blank. The theory related to the origin of human mind, as expounded in this book, stands on quite rational grounds. The primary stir brought into action by the dormant will of God led to the cause of existence. The stir set into motion the latent powers, and the process of creation and animation started. The same root force appearing as stir or stimulus descended in every being in the form of the chief active force. In man, it came to be known as the mind, at the root of which there is a dormant will, just as it was in a sight. Thus the human mind is closely identical with the root force or the original stir of which it is a part. As such, the functions of the both are closely similar. Philosophy is a subject not based on reason but based on intuition. It starts not from doubt, which most of the Western philosophers note, but from wonder. A life of practicality undergoing all experiences depicted therein is therefore essential to arrive at the reality of things. Clairvoyance. Now let us pray to Shri Babuji Maharaj and let us submit to Gurudev to guide us further in this quest to understand the embedded knowledge and further seek from him to make us to experience about it so that it becomes the expression after experiencing, after practically passing through them. A pause has been granted to me as I am experiencing. My entire brain and its capacity got exhausted by consumption. My mind is not in a position to think any further, as my mind is experiencing weight of this whole writing. Back of my present para writing. A state of helplessness is brewing. Not knowing what to do with the capacities whatever is left with me, as my heart is heavy, attempting to turn to him, but experiencing the heaviness in my heart leading to yawning state. My eyes are getting closed. It appears that it is taking the toll of 9 days of writing, which began on the 23rd of February 2022 evening. I am waiting for His grace to descend on this miserable state. It appears His kindness oozing upon me and its benediction are showered. I am able to begin thinking to think to understand. Shri Babuji Maharaj made the discovery about the birth of Raja Yoga, about the birth of central region, about the center and the first Rishi who is still swimming in the central region being mostly attached to the center itself. He further discovered that the great Rishi who lived 72 generations prior to Raja Dasharath of Suryavansh dynasty, Sun dynasty, it was not 71 nor it is 73, it is 72 generations exact and precisely. How? Raja Dasharath is in the Treta Yuga. I had no knowledge whether about the times of Raja Dasharath beginning of Treta Yuga i.e. To my little knowledge yugas have 4 pads i.e. 4 divisions Pratama, Dvitiya, Tritiya and Chaturtha i.e. first, second, Third and fourth. This fact can be verified from the Shastras, Puranas or other sacred literatures. He further mentions about the dynasty called Suryavansh. To my little memory recollection from my childhood times attended Purana Kathas that along with my grandmother was I used to take her to Purana recitation in a temple premises. It was mentioned that by the Brahman who presented the Puranam mentioned that Parashurama Avatara has vanquished 21 times the earth and eliminated all the bad and evil Kshatriya rulers upon the globe, and he brought the peace to the general populace, and at the time of his retiring to the hermitage to do penance he wishes to hand over the globe to rule by a good and benevolent Kshatriyas. And he found from 2 dynasties only who are good and benevolent rulers, and one dynasty is Suryavansha and another is Chandravansha, i.e., Sun dynasty and Moon dynasty. Accordingly he gave the entire global rights to rule in arms to those 2 dynasties to rule benevolently. The Sun dynasty is also named as Raghavendra because of the greatest emperor ever ruled earth with such a benevolence. Honesty and all the virtues are available during his ruling. Whether Raghu emperor is the first emperor of the Sun dynasty was not known to me. Need to be verified by the reader himself. Another instant was recorded in the Ramayana of Princess Sita, Janki daughter of Raja Janak. Swayamvara. It is an open invitation extended by Raja Janak to all the suitable grooms to be present and to win the test of lifting the Shiva Dhanus named as Pinaka bow with arrows of Lord Shiva. In order to obtain the hand of Princess Sita or Janaki, it can be named as a bridegroom prowess challenge to win the bride. In that event all the mighty prince and kings participated to display and demonstrate their power and prowess in the art and skill of handling and arming and harnessing the mythological bow named as Pinaka of Lord Shiva by succeeding in lifting and arming it to battle fit. It is appropriate to mention here the weight and strength of the very bow which could not be lifted, armed, harnessed by any young warrior, which the baby princess could gracefully move, push the very carrier itself for quite distance with her graceful little tender palm. This event, when it came to the notice of Janaka Maharaj, which event had become an eye-opener to him and to the family about the godly gifted child and of her divine nature, nay, the divine child itself, and her unfathomable strength and power and purity, and who in reality graced, blessed his home. The great king, heart filled with joy and humbleness, gripped to the grant of boon bestowed by that the very divine child upon him and family. Then and there he decided to himself and in his heart, this is the test to be given to choose suitable groom at the time of marriage of this divine child. Hence the above test he called for. The bow, Pinaka, which was so heavy that it could be lifted or moved upon the pedestal upon which it was laid by minimum 100 warriors of battle fit, which Princess Sita or Janaki pushed it with her tender palm as a young girl of age between 5 to 6 years, while playing ball of flowers with her mates, when the flower ball went below the carrier upon which this great godly bow Pinaka was rested, and the divine child unknowingly pushed it and picked the ball. It is an indicator and index of baby princess's divine strength. Number of prince and kings attempted and failed. None could even to hold it. Ravana Brahma, the great sage Kashyapa Prajapati's son, did attend and could hold, but the Pinaka fell off him. Of that sheer weight he could not move the Pinaka upon himself so as to get up. At that time Lord Rama came to his rescue, and with one hand he could lift the bow though he was 18 years old, and released Ravana Brahma, otherwise Ravana Brahma would have breath lost of its sheer weight. Thereafter Lord Rama kept the great Pinaka on its pedestal carrier back. Thereafter he picked up the great Pinaka, the bow of Lord Shiva, stretched it straight, tied the bow string, and that caused great stir and thunder, and bolt suddenly appeared in hay. Vastness of sky with great roaring and dazzling of light and reverberating sound. Lord Rama pulled the string, bent the bow with such ease and grace, the bow was bent to such an extent it broke into two pieces that caused huge shake-up in the cosmos too, and the world, nay, universe were shivered and shaken. This great event sent the shocking waves into the cosmos and reached Lord Parashurama at his hermitage, and he could notice it that it is born out of the fall of the great bow Pinaka only. He was annoyed and agitated, stirred and shaken to note that Lord Shiva's bow could be destroyed, and he appeared instantly at the scene of King Janaka's court and challenged with the wilderness that who had done this great harm to the mankind, as this bow is the most sacred and holy, and it could give great protection and harness all the Asuric powers and bring the balance of rule and set out any great calamities with its string motion, and it is truly a great loss for the mankind welfare and well-being, and this is a great crime, and the one who committed this should not go unpunished because he did harm to the society and mankind. It is so mentioned that in the Ramayana that Lord Brahmashri Vishwamitra respectfully offers its respects and pleads with him, saying, Lord, it is not an act of evil. It is not an act of intent destruction, but it is the power and prowess this great prince Lord Rama, who is my disciple and also Brahmashri Vasishtha's disciple and son of Raja Dasharat and Lakshmana, is the younger brother of him, and they both came and assisted me and helped me to complete my great Geeing amidst the demons' land and the great demon queen Tataka. Demon child Sabahu were killed by them when they wanted to commit sacrilege, the Yagashala in Havana Kunda with blood, flesh and bones, and wanted to kill all the rishis and munis who are part of the Geeing. They are protectors of dharma and they risk their life at such a young age. By hearing this, Lord Parashurama frowns further and recollected an event of his last battle to cleanse the earth from the evil king's Kshatriyas when he attacked Ayodhya. Raja Dashrath went and hid himself in the Intapura in ladies' quarters, as he was the last king and also very pious and noble. Then Lord Parashurama refrained in killing him and left in his uncontrollable anger. He is a son of a coward. How his children can be so valorous, bold and courageous. All the prayers of Lord Shri Brahmashri Vishwamitra, Lord Rama and Lakshmana including Raja Janaka became futile in bringing down the rage of Lord Parashurama. In that rage he issued his Parshu directly on Lord Rama, and that Parshu when hit it became a garland decorating him. By seeing this he gathered himself at once and realized the immensity of the event and came back to his senses, and wisdom prevailed over him and utterances spontaneously oozed out of his vocal cords, stating that my role of my avatara is over and new avatara Purusha in the form of Rama, and he is the Yuga Purusha began. We can deduce in these analysis this is the end of the Yuga of Lord Parashurama and the beginning of the Treta Yuga, and the Yuga Purusha was declared and presented himself. So we could squarely got the answer that it is the beginning of Treta Yuga and the Yuga begins with the Yuga Purusha only. On the same note and wavelength that the role of erstwhile Yuga of Yuga Purusha Lord Krishanji Maharaj had got closed when the Lord Babuji Maharaj emerged as the Yuga Purusha, though it may be out of this context. I felt it is proper for the reader to read more another couple of lines. Coming back to the point. From the beginning of the Treta Yuga of the Suryavansha dynasty where Lord Dashrath was the kind. From there 72 generations need to be calculated. Total number of years for one Yuga. Lifespan of human beings at that time in Yuga. Total number of years means of a generations. These are the broader requirement needed to calculate 72 generations from the beginning point of Raja Dasharatha. But we do not have all those details pertaining to calculate. Before that Treta Yuga is the Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga. Lord Rama born in Krita Yuga and emerged as Yuga Purusha, thereby declaring that it is a treasure. Yuga beginning, and the ancient thought do consider that the very birth of Lord Rama is the beginning of Treta Yuga. Remaining of Dashavataras proceeding to Lord Rama was all occurred in the Krita Yuga only or Satya Yuga only. Hence we can deduce in our thought or in our thinking that the first Rishi who is swimming in the central region and near the center must be at the beginning of Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga. Maybe in this kalp only. Group of 4 yogas with all the number of years put together is called one kalp. We could get the answer of one utterances of Shri Babuji Maharaj, i.e. First query the dynasty, second query Yuga, third query 72 generations, and fourth query about the Yuga Purusha. Age of Raja Yoga is put together all the years of one Sat Yuga and Treta Yuga. We can safely now call and name it as very ancient science. The age of discovery of the thought as a power by the mankind is the same because it was discovered by that great Rishi. The further secret revealed about the mind power is also of that time, and the secret of creation was also revealed from that time only, and the secret of the clairvoyant vision is also of the same time. The revelation of the reality is also of the same time. The birth of the philosophy of yoga is also of same time. The secret revealed by the first star, Shobh Upadana Karn, is also of the same time. The secret about the latent power is also of the same time. The secret revelation of the dormant will of the God. The secret of root force in which gets transformed as the chief active force and got further transformed as mind, which is akin and same like a dormant will of the star. The revelation of original star is also of the same time. How is it possible to measure in exact and accurate precision of the existence and presence of the first Rishi in central region near the center and his state, still swimming? What do we call this vision? Can we name the name which had been given by the Shri Babuji Maharaj as the clairvoyant vision of the highest merit? Is it not absolute precision, accuracy, ultimate in expression, and all the flowing events from his emergence as the personality to that point of central region crossing and passing through of all the times? Is it not clairvoyant vision of highest merit? What do we call that? Passing through and noting through all the sages and saints of the mankind and tracing them to that first Rishi, noting the descendants of impulses for the stream of yoga. Raja Yoga, is it not indicator of his status? Are they not discoveries and invention and of pure research which he has undertaken and achieved as the present day human? Can we not say that he is the father of research? That he is the source of research? He is the one-time solution for the research. Note: if you observe the present modern science evolution since 1944, you can certainly see the footprints of the science discoveries, inventions in the most explosive manner which had never occurred in the history of mankind. I attribute all these to the advent of the Shri Babuji Maharaj as the personality, the Yuga Purusha. If you read carefully guidelines and directions in the form of his writings, evolution is the process and ongoing is the research upon which with which he lived and continued to be present with this everlasting spirit. It is only we have to connect to him, and that is what my Acharya told me, and further he said it is almost difficult or impossible to get connected to him after his physical wailing, and it is not possible to develop mergency in him after his physical feeling. Any connectivity or mergency is possible during his lifetime only. When I inquired with him that I wanted to get connected to Babuji Maharaj and merge in him only, the above is his answer. The above is his answer, and then he said, you merge in me when sufficient mergency is developed with me. In return, I will connect to him. I will not hold with me. Then he gave the mathematical principle: if A is merged in B and if B is merged in C, the merge in C will be same as A in C only. The same theory Shri Babuji Maharaj did present in his writings while referring to his master too. Adi Guru the Grand Master Lalaji Maharaj mergency, and he declares that whoever merged in him, Shri Babuji Maharaj is getting mergency in Lalaji Maharaj only, as there is no difference between him and Adi Guru, and that is the reason he gave meditation on the divine light. The divine light is nothing but Shri Lalaji Maharaj only. The soil of Raja Yoga has become so fertile, which has transformed itself as a true knowledge soil. It is so fertile in its fertility, it has drawn from its practices, originated from it as a crop. Practices, methods have become instrument of cultivation. And a yogi became a cultivator or a farmer, tilling the soil of knowledge with the seeds of service and selflessness of the mankind and creation. He started sowing the seeds of his thoughts and reaping the benefits of it in the form of harvest of great inventions, great research findings, and they become the basis for the research in the field of the mankind general knowledge, which is with the matter, and spirituality and yoga is without matter. The sages and yogis are leaving the fruits of them for the posterity and for the mankind, so that at any given point of sluggishness or slowness of the mankind, ongoing slowdown, due to its weight and the heaviness born out of growth, that is, revolution gives the motion. Motion gives the growth. Growth checks the revolution. So the strength of revolution and the proportion to it is the motion and the growth. So when the growth has reached its full and the rotation cannot anymore produce further motion, hence the growth itself checks the rotations. Worship, an intrinsic value, study and research about the Yoga Brahma, unto him which belongs to him. Worship is the world order. Worship by the faithfuls is even prevalent even in aborigines, equally with the civilized world. Worship of nature, worship of natural forces do present amongst the mankind. And countries have emerged, and they become the presiding deities, like sun is the presiding deity of Japan. Peru, moon is a revered or worshipped for the Islam. In Buddhism, to reveredness of the rivers. Kind of worship of the rivers do prevalent among the mankind. Like Kumbh Melas for all the rivers. And births of Kaveri practiced till now of all the rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, etc. Niles and Tigris are for the Egypt. Mountains are also worshipped, like Mount of Thar, Abu, Himalayas. They are revered, respected and worshipped. Forests also worshipped in India. In the classification of Yakshas, Nishadas, they are the birthplace. And they dwell over there. Aborigines too, who are the deep mountain caves and deep forests. They treat as the mother. One religion order was born out of the worship of the fire. Zoroastrianism. Revelations have occurred upon the mountain tops. The Thar Mount, where revelation occurred, where God was revealed to Moses. Himalayas is respected and worshipped as the abode of Lord Shiva. Moon was respected and worshipped like Buddha Purnima, Vyasa Purnima. All the ancient civilizations like Babylonian, Mesopotamia, Egyptian, Peruvian, Chinese, Indus. Worship is a forerunner. Greece is a natural. Tears are the natural outcome of the human race. It appears worship is also natural. Mankind always identified itself with the worship and you cannot separate it. Hence it is natural. The worship, when it was individualized, remained within oneself. An individual remains in a semi-absorbed or an absorbed state. When it gripped him after thoroughly meting out all his bare needs, which remains with him. Even the bare necessities are not met, like hunger, thirst or urges. Mankind do experience and sustain. It becomes very private and personal. In one word, nothing can check, nothing can erase this trait, worship. From him, this inexplainable state which is producing such a kind of a satiation. And it is to be called as or named as soul satisfaction. Only to indicate, it is not physical though physical. It is not bare necessities like hunger, thirst or urges, but still man needs it. He cannot live without it. And it is above and beyond psychological satisfaction, ego satisfaction, satisfaction beyond the achievement satisfaction, satisfaction of possession, intellectual satisfaction, palate satisfaction, aesthetics satisfaction, jewelry satisfaction. In the words of Shri Babuji Maharaja, about the spiritual subject and spiritual matters, one has to begin attempts to write only when he completes his own spiritual journey. It speaks volumes, and this becomes parameter to measure any scriptures or sacred texts' expressions. Why they carry and affect so much impact upon the readers. Event if they hear, they read, they recite even today. To quote a few, books of Ramayana and Mahabharata epics, Bhagavad Gita, writings of Greek writers, Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, writings of Rishabhnath Mahavir, Book of Torah of Moses, Bible, Quran, Gayatri, Om Bhurbhuvah Suvah Tat Saviturvrenyam Bhargodevasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Na Prachodayat, Guru Granth Sahib, Vachanas of Alama Prabhu, Baswanna, Akka Mahadevi, writings of Tiruvalluvar, works of Bhagavad Pada Adi Shankaracharya, Srimad Ramanujacharya, Srimad Madhvacharya, Kabir Dohas, writings of Shri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Swami Vivekanand, writings of Shri Lalaji Maharaja and Shri Babuji Maharaj of present days. Let this be a part of the worship. These mentioned sacred texts and literatures did note a number of devotional practices, rituals which became the part of it, hymns, chants, mantras, devotional songs, few to quote, few to mention to facilitate the understanding, and to mark the importance of worship. Worship is natural to man, though it is his nature first. But we can conclusively say that it is second nature. When to evolve the state of worshipfulness practically may not be possible, because man has to work to live, not like member of stray animal kingdom, not member of domesticated animal kingdom, not member of water kingdom, not member of kingdom of skies, not member of insect kingdoms, whose sustaining responsibility is taken over by the nature. But it has been squarely allowed to man to work to live. So as the human society sustains in an organized way and grows in an organized way with the basic principle of division of labor and dignity of labor, and translation of their individual contribution in a measurable way, with a standard medium of measure of value based upon the contribution, and they were also further classified as professions, avocations, services, get translated with a uniform measure. Orderliness, orderly functions, orderly contributions, systematic discharging all become part of the human society. In order to usher in the peace, tranquility and well-being of work and living, and also restoring the physical health too. The health which will be restored if this element of worship is part of the human life, because its role is higher and greater than any other sustaining element of the human race. Coming back to the point again, though the need of the worship is majority of the wakeful state, but naturally it could not be evolved or felt. Hence wisdom of the wise men of the ancient times attempted to find so many means. They resulted into different orders of religions and faiths, and their unique way of approach in evolving in suiting to an individual of the times. This worshipping produces the absorption. That absorption caters to the needs to peace, tranquility, happiness and satisfaction, and also it spreads the same into the human society too. Thereby the society lives in peaceful state, and it produces contentment, That contentment sets out the future birth of number of evils. Jealousy, venom, dissatisfaction, hurt, depression and so on and so forth. Perhaps they may be one of the surest means for the majority evils of the present-day society. If the social psychologists and mentalists they look in the right perspective. Thereby it can also set out the war, the enmity. So, this further led to the original minds to think higher and greater than this. And they found that the mergency is the perfect solution. Then the question came in, what is mergency? To whom it has to be merged? Is there anything which is fit to be get merged? Then this become the exclusive and dedicated area of some set of people who had dedicated themselves to find the good of the mankind, to the welfare of the mankind, and not for the benefits of themselves. And these men were called by the ancient men of India as sages. The great rishis, saints, yogis. The subject matter became more exclusive and more specific, like a super speciality with that kind of an ability, mindset and brain capacity. And some born gifts too. That kind of a creed are a group of people joined together or individually went on doing research. Not by studying, but by severe practices, strenuous practices, named as tapas. And while doing these kinds of practices, they end up into far exclusive and far unique and totally independent from the late practices of rituals and hymns, beyond and above the means of expressed declared faiths and orders and so on and so forth from that ancient times. These yogis in majority of the times, they might have or might not have began from the elementariness of faiths, worships and orders, where they were on the exclusive track leaving aside every bogey which they attached, and remained as engines went ahead on the rail of practice, with the fuel of devotion and worship of that object and purpose is welfare and well-being of mankind and of the coming generations of the mankind, present to the future, and to the eternity. Perhaps with this background, if we look back retrospectively the writings of Shri Babuji Maharaja, of his invention and discovery of the first sage, who is swimming in the central region near the center, before the 72 generations of Raja Dasharat of the Suryavansh dynasty. And he can be called as the first yogi, or Adi Yogi, Yogi Purusha, Yoga Brahma, mergency. Mergency is the invention of Raja Yoga, that the mastery and perfection and inventor. Process discovery is all by Shri Babuji Maharaj only. This is the greatest yogic prakriya of the highest merit. The first rishi, who is swimming in the central region near the center, is yet to have the final mergency in center. But whereas Shri Babuji Maharaj had the perfect mergency with Shri Lalaji Maharaj, the Adi Guru, the mergency is so much that between of the two personalities the difference completely dissolved and the mergency is total and complete and full. As such there is no difference now which was felt. In Urdu couplet, tu shudi, me shudi, single quote. Shri Babuji Maharaj is the only example to quote and available to refer about the mergency. In the yoga it means union and union means yoga. This mergency or union, oneness referring in the spiritual history is Radha Krishna, Mata Radha and Lord Krishna union. In the intercommunication it was stated by Shri Babuji Maharaj that when Lord Krishnaji Maharaj was in the battlefield of Narakash, that the imperience was Mata Radha was herself in the battle. The difference is so thin between of them. In the intercommunication, which Mata Radha had communicated to Shri Babuji Maharaja stating that, I was of the opinion that my love to Lord Krishnji Maharaj was greater than anybody, but you have surpassed that. Your love is so great to your Guru and there is no equal henceforth. You are my brother. Benedictions and grace flows from her to Shri Babuji Maharaj. In another Third incident. That Lord Shri Swami Vivekanandaji Maharaj gave the communication to Shri Babuji Maharaj stating that love of Shri Lalaji Maharaj is so much for you that he left the brighter world and came down to earth to stay with you. There is no such parallel available in the history of spirituality. This intercommunication upholds the two-way emergency. But still there is no difference. Next example. Another instance to be quoted from the life of revered Raghavendra Rao Sahib of emergency, which was on record as a recorded evidence of his spiritual ascending. From the book, Letters from Babuji Maharaj to Raghavendra Rao, date the 24th of February 1969. First of all, I congratulate you for the fact that your Laya Avastha in Brahma, absorbency in Brahma, has commenced on the 11th of February 69 at 8.25 am. All this is due to the grace of revered Lalaji Sahab. Otherwise a saint of such caliber is found once in hundreds of years. And it is the speciality of his training only that there can be many such persons at a given time. If such 24 persons who have attained his condition can be had, and if they preach and propagate in different parts of India, spirituality will develop in every part of India within 20 years. But, brother, no doubt I have got the courage that I can make millions of such persons by the power and grace of Lalaji Sahab. But I do not get men. About myself and my practice. 79th year birthday celebrations of Shri Babuji Maharaj was getting celebrated at Bangalore Center. In the year 1978, I was 16.5 years of age, studying first year BCom. Attended only a day of the function as a volunteer, as that period was my examinations time. It was first darshana of Shri Babuji Maharaj to me. My second darshana was when I was at bus stop to catch a bus for my college. Shri Babuji Maharaj passed through in a car. A fleeing darshana. Thereafter quite some time. First time I met Pujya Raghavendra Rao Sahib, revered M.D. Jahagirdar Sahib and Shri Janardhan at Bangalore Center rear building first hall. Adjacent to pantry and kitchen where informal chat used to take place. Myself, my friend Govinda Raj met Raghavendra Rao Sahib, who used to be addressed as Bhai Sahib or Appa, for the first time to seek initiation to begin the meditation. 3 close friends we were: Srinivas Murthy, eldest, B. Civil Engineer, UVCE, Shri Govinda Raj, B. Mechanical, City Central College Campus, KR Circle. Myself Suresh Kumar, youngest, studying BCom, first year, at B&M College Banshankari second stage, and we were close friends. T.S. Srinivas Murthy and myself were Devata hostel mates and roommates too. It was free boarding and lodging hostel for my community, Arya Vaishya, run by Devata family lineage. By the time of our meet, our friend T.S. Srinivasa Murthy was practicing meditation and was attending satsang regularly at Bangalore Center. During that period of his beginning of meditation seriously, I was at my native place Nandyal for my holidays, and it was the norm of the hostel that they boarders, students should go to the native place, and only those who are having classes and need to attend should remain in the hostel. My other friend Shri Govinda Raj called upon me to my residence telephone at Nandyal and requested me to come to Bangalore immediately as there is an emergency, stating that our good friend T.S. Srinivas Murthy became spoiled one and regularly he is going to ashram and doing meditations and refrained from meeting friends and stopped outings and further stopped going to movies and also even stopped listening to musical songs, filmy songs and other classical music, and he stopped even singing songs. Thought he had a very melodious voice and singer in all the public functions at his school, and he Used to play any instrument without any formal learning and exactly produce same tunes once he hears them and also while hearing them. It became a great surprise and shock to Govinda Raj's permanent pillion rider is T.S. Srinivas Murthy in his scooter. He had owned pink-colored Bajaj scooter with 1750 as the number. Always they used to go out to movies, all languages like morning show, noon show, first show, if possible second show if it's a holiday. Shopping complexes, Lalba, Vidhan Sodha, Kabir Park, a random thought, nature's mind, nature of thought. If we want to find, we can only begin with pondering over that too, using the same thought and mind. Perhaps this may be the guidance of Bhagavan Ramana. Know thyself, to know thyself. To know about his elder, he is well aware. Not him to know, nothing to think. Know about body, no need of thought, no need of mind. They are there. What Bhagavan appears to give a direction is, know about your thoughts, know about your mind. Maybe further if we expand this thought, he is further guiding that know about yourself in which is to be read as an inclusive of I too. Why this is important? This is like a driving. You are in the driver's seat with that help. You are steering clearly on the path of living. It becomes a huge intellectual exercise, heavily brain taxing. Because steering is possible and driving becomes easy only when you know it. But to know, the difficulty is the harshness of the terrain. Hard and tough of its hot and depths, steep and smooth, dry and hot, cold and frozen, states of self. Indeed a hurtful travel to pass through the events, which is the living path, and that too, the ignite and spark those times. Age, place, perhaps, I may wish to forget or I may wish to not to remember or recollect. If it's so, how can I know me as a doer, the participator as a self, mind as an driver, thoughts as a guide? Yes, it is a perfect way, perfect guidance and the surest way. But the difficult is with me, whether I can adopt such means to know myself in this hard way and then to come to conclusion to find the means to get over them and become fit and proper to focus upon new path or the laid path by him. I find the need here to get rid of it, get rid of them, within available my time, because most scarce material in human life is time. Wanting material is time. All planning means is for time. To ash out few minutes, an hour or couple in a jam-packed schedules of work, to meet everyday's needs. It appears to me that, not only a method, but also it should be sound and also a proper guide and above all a power, which can do the job and which can accomplish the task and available to me at my available time and do the job. The thoughts are directing me to seek the power, not the rituals, not the chants, not the hymns, not the gods, not the goddesses or deities, but which is plainly available, easily accessible, and also it should be everlasting source and well. If you scan with an eagle eye the arena of spiritualness, spiritual means of the ancient times, from the ancient times to present, the means are only the yogic method, the means are only the meditation, means are only the ancient invention of a highest merit, Yog Prakriya, which is the exclusive to this country, is the transmission, Pranasya Pranha, of great yogi, who has evolved himself to have the access to that kind of power, which could be used for cleansing, purging and enriching too of the Attic power and facilitate surely the spiritual ascending. An unfailing means to the lot of mankind. Power-starved, energy-starved mankind. This is the nature of mind and thought. It flies and it picks, mind churns, thought bulges. So we can feel randomness is prevalent. Acharya Deva, Shri Raghavendra Rao Sahib. Yea, the Good Shepherd, The lamb is in your caressing hands. Hold it tight. Luscious green grass to feed. The lamb licketh your hand. Refuge. It found in your bosom. Full of warmth and love. Hold it, O Lord. That is the state of the innocent lamb, unable to spell either its hunger, thirst, or even protection. That grace oozing out from thy loving eyes is an assurance. Thy caressing fingers reassured it of thy care. Thy benevolence, O good shepherd, be so forever. Amen. That would have been a great thing for the good shepherd to hold and embrace a lamb. An innocent lamb, but may not a lamb, but may only to him. My beloved, at my age of 16.5 years, perplexed was the note of appearance. When he looked at me, not knowing what to do with me, not knowing what I wanted from him, not even known why did I came to him. Well, he summed up the courage. As he was the teacher, started approaching me as a teacher. Certain he was that I am yet to become a student. Not clear whether I have such traits for a studentship. And he began to reach me from his own end. And he began the dialogue. Well, young man, what do you want? Want from me? Quote, Sir, I wanted to begin meditation. Why for and what for at this young age? Get qualified, get a job, get married, then come. I shall teach you meditation. We were two of us who went to meet him. My friend Mr. Raj, who is a BE Mechanical. I am Suresh Kumar, first year BCom. He was waiting for me for my replies, our replies. Patiently. And it was a pin-drop silence in that whole hall, which is packed to the brim. Packed to the full. Even the people were sitting packed at the adjacent meditation hall too. Shri M. D. Jagirdhar, preceptor and center in change. B. J. Janardhan, prefect, were also present. In one corner end, my other friend Mr. P. S. Srinivas Murthy was also present. And it was in the year 1978. My reply began. To learn Brahmvidya. He heard with a rapturous attention. It deeply touched him. Silence enveloped. Not even responsive answer. A pause. With a gap. Well. With a gentle voice. What about him? Quote. Showing the finger to my friend Raj. My friend answered. Same answer. He said. Oh. Do you know the prayer? Quote. I replied. Yes. He asked. Can you tell me the meaning of the prayer? Would you have understood? Quote. My reply. Yes. I can do. I read the prayer in English. I am not so well versed in English. I can spell out in my mother tongue Telugu. With a deep thought of absorption to spell the meaning of the prayer when attempting. A link was established. I felt. Though I may not be able to produce here the meaning of the prayer in Telugu, but I gave exact. His gaze was without blinking. Slightly bent towards me. He was satisfied and convinced. My friend sitting next to me. Poking me, asking me. Telling me. Ask some questions. Raise some queries. Let us know what he is. Quote. In a whisper we were telling me. We were sitting in a squatting posture. He was also sitting in a squatting posture. I said, yes, I will do it. I have certain questions I wanted some clarifications. Yes, you can. Why should I meditate, when I can meditate upon either ocean or space, or any other object of the body? His reply, yes, young man, you can do it. But I cannot train you. It is a school of thought. And this is the curriculum of my school. It is something like you are attending engineering class and asking the teacher to teach about arts or history. Vice versa, attending arts class seeking replies for engineering subject. So you have to subscribe yourself to this curriculum if you want my teaching and training. And I was seriously searching in myself to raise a number of queries. With such preparation I came there. But my mind became blank. And my brain is at ease. There is no ripples. Forget about tides. It was so calm. But to prove that I or we are intelligent, we have read well, and we can confuse the teacher with our prowess of knowledge, and make an impression upon the audience too. I shot out another query. What do you mean by Atman? It is written in scriptures that it cannot burnt in any fire. It cannot be drenched in any amount of water. It cannot be swept away with any power of wind. But it remains. What exactly it is? Quote, he was sitting in a cross-legged posture, squatting on the floor, slightly adjusted his posture. He replied, yes, 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 I do read the same. To find out I am doing research. I am in a serious research. And further he extended the statement. Young man, why don't you join me in my research? We shall together do the research to find the Atman. If you happen to find the answer first, please, you teach me. If I find the Atman first in my research, I will teach you. I do not know what to say. It was shell shock of an answer for the entire gathering. Even whispers were shut. Silence gripped. I was transfixed with a great awe. With wide open eyes I started looking at him. But to myself I was thinking, here is the great teacher who is ever ready to learn, no matter whether it is from the student or from a young child. But he is ever ready to learn, only to teach back. What a wonderful teacher he is. What a wonderful approach he has. He simply lifted me up, made me sit along with him, on the same platform, giving the great respect, admiring the so young mind, plain utterance, and accepting them as so, as real and true, honoring the dignity and decorum of teacher, training, pupil without minding of age, gender, caste, creed, nationality, fit, unfit, proper, improper. But as a teacher he extended the same respect.